Hello, how are you? Whew, I'm sorry, I just drank some water. I was so thirsty. How are you doing? What's going on? I am back. I missed a week. Oh, by the way, I missed a week because it was my birthday. Last Monday, the 10th, was my birthday. And I'm gonna be very honest with you. It wasn't just because it was my birthday. I was planning on coming and doing the live that week anyway. But then that Wednesday, I got caught up on TikTok of all places. I was on a panel and things were getting good. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to give myself the reprieve to just do what I'm doing right now, enjoy the moment. Also, I had collected some clips from the subject that I'm talking about tonight. But you know how I like to kind of like formulate a more complex theme or focus for the conversation, and that hadn't quite gelled in my mind yet. So I just was like, you know what? I'm just going to let this cook, or maybe I'll find a different subject or a better subject by the next week. But it's my birthday, so I'm just going to indulge in doing what I want to do for the moment. And so that's what happened. But I appreciate you guys bearing with me. And yeah, that's that. How are you? What's been going on these last couple of weeks? I'm interested to know what you were doing with your free time. If you've been enjoying the weather, the weather's been really, really nice. The last couple weeks, especially like the cooler days. What have you been getting up to? I'm itching for the fall. I'm itching for the fall. I could just feel it like last week in the air, and I was like, "Oh yeah, baby, I'm ready." Also, today is the 19th in 7 days. My daughter will be going back to school, so that's exciting. I got to hurry up and do some last minute stuff for her. I was waiting till the last minute because I have her on the wait list for this performing arts school. And the thing is, my oldest daughter had went to that school before I wound up sending her down south to her dad. And it was a similar situation. Like you have to do a lottery to be able to get them to school because the school is free, but it's still like a really good school. And I did the lottery. They did the drawing in I think it's like March, March of this year or February. No, they did it in February, and she's number 4 on the wait list. Now the thing is, when my oldest daughter went to that school, she was number 7 on the wait list, right? And so because she was number 7 on the wait list means you weren't picked to come outright, but you're basically in a line for if something falls through with somebody else, if some slots open up in the school, they'll contact you for this particular school year. They'll contact your parent and then they can get you in there. Now, when my daughter was number 7 on the wait list, what happened was like 2 weeks before school was supposed to start, they reached out to me and was like, okay, she's in. And so I had to hurry up and scramble and get all her stuff together to go to that school. So I was trying to sit on my hands about like getting the stuff that she needs for the school. She's still enrolled in the school she's been going to for the last couple years. But like I said, she's on the wait list and we really want her to go to that other school. So I'm waiting. And I was waiting to like pay the first month's tuition and all that other stuff. You're supposed to pay it by the 20th. I went ahead and paid it this morning because I was like, okay, you know what? Let me just move forward. But I know for a fact, like once I get settled and put out all this money for her to go to the school she's already in, they're going to be like, hey, girl, we're ready for you. And then I'm going to have to buy a whole nother set of uniforms because she goes to Catholic school. So I have to buy her uniforms, her list of supplies, all that other stuff. Um, I'm gonna have to buy a whole nother set of stuff. So I was trying to just wait and see if they would just tell me she could come to the other school. But they didn't, so it's fine. I'm blessed. I can handle it. Everything is good. Oh, also, if you want to support, hold on, what's going on? Sorry. If you want to support me, if you want to tell me happy birthday, if you want to support the channel, if you want to support my baby, going to school, you can go ahead and donate to the Cash App. No pressure, but I'm just putting it up there. I want to get better at promoting the products and stuff that I have because I know I'm not that great at that. I still feel a little about it, but I'm trying to get into taking that stuff more seriously because that is something that means something to me. Um, being able to monetize, like having the channel be monetized generally, is a big boost to my self-esteem just because I've been working at this stuff for so long. Like it's a measurable thing that I can say, okay, I haven't just been, twiddling my thumbs and playing around. I've actually been doing work, and this is the result of that work. So it's that type of thing. So if you want to, also tonight we're going to be working in the book. We're going to be using some stuff from my book. So if you haven't already got your copy of Level Up, the Single Mother's Guide to Reclaiming Her Dignity, you can do that as well. And then we have the general merch just for funsies. We have the Path to Hell is paved with dicks shirt. They have come in 3 different colors. It's black, white, and brown. So you can buy that shirt on my Shopify. And I also have these mugs. The Path to Hell is paved with dicks. Mugs, we have it in blue. We have it in lavender. And we have it in gold, the Level Up Single Mom color. So if you want to go ahead and pick up some merch, please feel free to do so. Let me think. What else do I have going on? I think that's it for right now. I'm proud of myself. Did anything funny happen? Because usually I have a funny story or just a long drawn out story. Just something weird that happened. Nothing has happened. Have I been out? I went out on Friday. Oh yeah. I went to another funeral. I went to another funeral on Friday. So I told y'all the last time I was here, my neighbor to the left of me had passed away, and she was somebody who, you know, I had known since I was a little kid and was all up in my business and all types of stuff. But we wound up having just a chill rapport. And then she passed away suddenly. My neighbors across the street, they had a family member pass away. She used to live around here, but she hasn't lived around here in a long time. But I knew of her through my friend, and it was my friend basically. My friend doesn't live here, but she's family, and my friend's parents lives over there. Is what I'm saying, and so we knew about that. Me and my other girlfriend who used to live right there, um, we went. It was like a little reunion again, like the other one. So me and my friend were just sitting there talking about how it's so crazy that people are dying off, and one of my other friends, her aunt's friend passed away, and I was just talking to her about how sometimes I do be sitting and thinking about what it will be like once me and my friend, like my I call them life mates, me and my life mates start passing away. That's going to be like something, you know what I mean? Like I don't even know what to call it because I don't want to say weird. It's not weird. It's natural. But that's something I guess I'm kind of like mentally getting prepared for, and so that's just a weird space to be in. And mind you, have I been to funerals and stuff before? Yeah, but being that I'm the age I am now, it just makes it. And I got grown kids. You know what I mean? Like it just makes it feel. I don't know. It it's an odd feeling. I don't have language completely for it yet, but that's kind of where my head has been. But other than that, generally, I'm blessed. I'm happy. My kids are doing well. My family's doing well. You know what I mean? Like everything is fine. It's just when you start seeing death happening around you, it's so crazy. Hayden Panettiere. Hayden Panettiere. Can I tell you? and this is going to sound really bad, but that has like shook me a lot more. And mind you, these people that passed away, they're older people. So, but with Hayden Panettiere passing away, that really kind of gut punched me because I told you, like, I already was in this headspace of like wrapping my mind around my own mortality and the mortality of the people that um, my peers. But to have literally, she feels like a peer. You know what I mean? And growing up alongside her and watching her, and I remember when she started talking a couple years ago, she started talking about her experiences and seeing like the transformation in her. She seemed to have like some kind of yeah, child. And hey y'all, hey London Link, hey Production Inquiry. Um Seeing how the things that have been going on had affected her, like it had affected her speech. I remember she did an interview and people were saying, oh, she seemed like she was drunk or high and everything, like the scrutiny that was on her because of how she had changed since she had grown up and the things she went through. Mind you, I remember when she first married that big ass man, Vladimir Klitschko, the boxer, the big Russia boxer. I think he's no, they were in they're Slavic, but I don't remember exactly which country. But the big boxer, I remember when she married him, and I remember being kind of like, that's a little, but okay, whatever. She was technically grown, and then she had that baby, and I remember her waddling around, looking very uncomfortable, carrying that big man baby, that giant baby. But then she had the baby, and then they got divorced, and there was a little bit of trouble there. I don't know. I'm so sad. It's a weird feeling whenever I think about it. I'm very sad about it. Um, but I just don't know, man. Like the timeline we're on just sucks balls. I don't know what else to say. Um, that was definitely a damper on everything. So, but I don't know. Prayers go out to her. Prayers to her baby girl. Prayers to her family. I believe they said she had lost a sibling, a brother, before this too. So prayers to their parents. That's really sad. Yeah, sorry to bring the mood down, but I mean that's what's happening in my life lately, right? So yeah, but I think I'm gonna go ahead, get this thing started. We can get into the topic for tonight. Be ready to be annoyed. Be ready to be annoyed. Be ready to be disgusted. Be ready to just be upset. But also be ready to, look at things a little bit differently and expand your viewpoint so that we can find some deeper meaning or truth or useful information to, you know, what we're talking about. But I'm going to go ahead and play this intro and then we can get started. Of my girl.
No problem. You in charge of the girls, right? I am in charge of the girls. Are you in charge of the girls?
I'm sorry, y'all. That's not what I meant to do. How the hell did this get on the thing? We're gonna start that over because I didn't mean to do that. I had put the accidentally put the things on the screen and I didn't know what was going on. We're gonna start that over and then we're gonna get started. Even now I can't find the thing. Okay, here we go. My girl.
No problem. You in charge of the girls, right? I am in charge of the girls. Are you in charge of the girls? I am in charge of the girls.
Okay, so tonight's subject matter or case study is going to be Blueface. Blueface is a rapper. Um, he got popular with the Bust Down Tatiana song. He did the remix with Cardi B. That was a time. Uh, then somewhere along the way, I'm gonna be honest, I knew that song. It was what it was. I never really got into him, paid him too much attention. Then somewhere along the way, he meets this girl named Krishan, and Krishan was a student athlete. She was in college. She somehow made it to college. Mind you, Krishan had a background fraught with a lot of difficulty. She came from a household with a lot of kids, not necessarily a lot of education, some violence. Later on, her and some of the other family, mainly her, was talking about like some of the things that happened, sexual abuse, things such of that nature. And long story short is hold on. I'm telling you, I swear these people know when I go live because that does not happen until I go live. But anyway, she came from a background that where she wound up going was very impressive for someone who came from that background. She made it to school. She was doing I believe she was in track, so she had a scholarship for track. She was just generally a good athlete, and it got to the point where she was doing, I don't remember if it was American Ninja Warrior. There was a show that used to come on, and it was about being athletic. And not American Ninja, was it American Ninja Warrior? I feel like it was a show before American Ninja Warrior, but I can't think of the name of the show yet. I could see it in my mind's eye, but it basically was like one of those indoor arena type shows where you go around, you do these different feats of, hey, exclusively elusive, these different feats of athleticism, and you might have these professional antagonists that come with the show that are trying to like throw you off course or knock you down or whatever. But she was on that one of those shows before. Like she had or was starting to have a presence within media, um in and of her own right, from being an aspirational story. uh, I would say she had a similar trajectory going in terms of Clarissa Shields. And what's funny to me is I'm just now putting that together because remember when I was talking about Clarissa Shields some months ago, I was kind of asking myself why Clarissa seemed to be so fixated on Krishan's sister and seeming to kind of want the kind of notoriety that Krishan's sister had. Like she wanted to be a baddie and she wanted to be this and that and the other. It hadn't occurred to me how entwined their stories were and how that might be one of the reasons she kind of was looking to them. You know what I mean? Like that just hit me. So that makes a little bit more sense to me now. But yeah, she seemed to be someone who had made a way for herself where there was seemingly no way. And that's a beautiful thing. Like everybody loves that. But somewhere along the way, she met up with Blueface and they became an item, and then it was just debauchery from then on out. I wasn't keeping up with it, but it was so much, very much like what's going on now with him. It was so salacious that it just kept making its way into, I'll say, mainstream black media feeds. You know what I mean? It was one of those types of things where if you're on social media, you were just going to see it whether you followed them or not. And what was going on with them was, it was just a lot of fighting. For one, Blueface seems to be someone who is dedicated to a pimp bachelor type lifestyle. And so they were butting heads about that. Also, Blueface has a baby mother from when he was a teenager. I don't know if they had a child when they were teenagers, but I know they had been together since they were teenagers. Her name is Jaden, and they had a child together. Then he started dealing with Krishan, and then there was like this love triangle. That's a recurring theme with him. There's always like a love triangle. There's always some kind of battle between multiple women for his attention and affection. And so at that particular point in time, it was between his baby mother Jaden and then Krishan. Then Krishan gets pregnant, and there was this whole thing around him saying he didn't know if the baby was his or not. It was just a bunch of mess. And but in the midst of that, Krishan was drinking, smoking. You would see her with the stomach. She was going on about how she technically didn't necessarily want to have the baby, but at that point, it was a little too late for her to be able to do anything about it. And so we just kind of saw her not being the best steward of a pregnancy. And then she has the baby. And then there's all this, you can kind of see how her behavior more than likely has affected um the baby's disposition. I'm just gonna say, it just seems like there may be some things that are not quite what they should be when it comes to his development. And we saw in real time, it's still floating around on the internet. You can pull it up anytime you want, of her going out to the club, drinking, smoking, doing things that a pregnant person should not do. And so that's what it is. Then Krishan has this story arc change, this enlightenment where she decides she wants to get right with God. And so she starts going to church, and she starts like trying to change her ways because she'd been very violent. She just was experiencing a lot of chaos, and she felt like the best way to quell that within her life would be to get a closer relationship with God. And she started doing that. During this point in time, Blueface was in jail, I believe. And then I believe she went to jail at one point too. Like there was a lot of it's been a lot going on, but I'm just trying to bring y'all up to speed with where we're at, where we're starting from. So then they're apart, and she seems to be trying to get herself together. She's still a little bit in denial about, stuff to do with the baby, it seems, but in a general sense, she seems to be mellowing out and just chilling out. Um, then in the meantime, Blueface gets out of jail. He comes home. There's this young girl. Her name is Nevaeh. And she also appears to come from a background that's not necessarily the most supportive. Um, she It's a lot of talk about her having been in a shelter. She has a child of her own. She has one son already. He looks about 5, if that. And apparently she was in a shelter with him trying to get housing. She didn't have anyone that she could turn to, her mother, her grandmother, father or stepfather, I don't remember. She just didn't seem to have a support system. But it looks like she did have somewhat of a social media presence, and she has been linked. She said she won the grand prize in ultimate tag. Okay. Okay. Who passed? A family member of a friend had passed. I mean, and then another friend of a friend of mine's family member also passed. Like it's been last couple of weeks has been crazy with the deaths. And then Hayden Panettiere, I was talking about that. But yeah, she was linked to a rapper. I don't remember exactly which rapper's name it was. The rapper is not her baby's father, though. Her baby's father is some other guy. Long story short, she seems to have a reputation for dating, having relations and stuff with rappers. Based off of the clip, mind you, I ain't sitting and watching these streams, but I've been seeing a lot of clips of Blueface and Nevaeh lately because now she's with Blueface. And according to the conversations they've been having, At some point, she met Blueface and was interacting with him. Also, while he was in jail, behind people's backs, or he was just one of a few people she was talking to. I feel like she was kind of semi serious with, or to the point of being known to be with this other rapper that's not Blueface, but Blueface knew of this. And then at some point, when he came home, they started being, what the kids call sneaky links, and they were sneakily linking. And, it was what it was. I don't know exactly why, when, how. At some point, she decided she wanted Blueface to be her man. Possibly once she got pregnant, it seeming like that might be the case. I don't know, but she's pregnant now, and so what she wound up doing is moving into Blueface's home that he has and staying with him. But unfortunately, thank you, exclusively elusive. Yeah, I mean I don't even know what to say. It's just what's going on. But thank you so much. Um, it's unfortunate because the clips I've seen of Blueface interacting with this girl Nevaeh specifically have been very triggering. They've been sad. They've been, in fact, let me put the trigger warning up. They've been sad. They've been triggering. They've been frustrating because it would appear that throughout the entirety of their relationship, he has been talking to her in this way that makes you say, why is she still there? Like, why is she fooling herself? And what is she doing there? And why is she putting herself through this? And she looks stupid, and all of the things. But also, there's the fact that, because there's this weird thing happening too. Mind you, Blueface is on Twitch now. That's important as well. What Blueface has done is he seems to have transitioned. I won't say out of rapping, but maybe he's more of a streamer now than a rapper. And what he seems to have done is he is now monetizing these relationships, a la Love and Hip Hop type of thing, where he's streaming all the time and he's showing people. This, I feel like, originated when him and Krishan got together, because it was something I do remember. Like I said, it was always on the blogs and everything so much, because I feel like they were always going live. They were always going live. They were always fighting. It would be him and her fighting. It would be her and his other baby mom fighting. Then when Krishan left and he got back with the other baby mom, it was him and the other baby mom fighting. And then he made the other baby mom a rapper despite Krishan. And it was a lot of stuff going on. But I feel like at some point he realized, like, oh, this is where the money resides. I'm going to start vlogging and just showing all of this drama that goes on, because people like it and they'll pay to see it. And so now it's gotten to a point where it seems like these women, these girls and women, up to and including his first baby mom, even though she's not necessarily a part of this story, and there are other women that he's actively like connected with too, that are like, they're not in the mix of what we're talking about today, but they are in the mix. It's like basically there's all these sub characters or whatever that have branched out, and at any given point, if you want anybody's perspective on what's going on, all the way up to Blueface's own mother, you can see these different people streaming together and on their own about this stuff that's going on. So this is where we're at with it, and what I kind of want to talk about, because there are multiple conversations happening, both about Blueface and them specifically, and not about Blueface, because I always like to meld things together. I guess you mean Blueface is such a waste of space. Him and the Mad Leprechaun. I don't know who that is. They had their own show. Okay, yeah, I know. I remember there was some point where it was just it was a show, or I knew it was something ongoing where you could watch them together, and it was just very dramatic and always something going on, and people was always fighting, and it was a mess. Was that when she lost her tooth? I feel like that was when she lost her tooth, or somehow when in the midst of that was when she lost her tooth. But anyway, so now that's where we're at. Fast forward to more recently, within the last couple weeks, the girl Nevaeh is pregnant, was heavily pregnant, and basically, I don't feel like he had seen Krishan in a long time though, but I feel like he realized that he could go and like be antagonistic towards her by being with yes, very flavor of love coded. That he could be antagonistic towards her by spending more time with Krishan or spending some time with Krishan. And I feel like they hadn't been together in a long time. So he went away, I believe. I think he went to Krishan and spent like a weekend, a long weekend with Krishan. And so, okay, yeah, they were on Zeus Network. Google a pic of her pregnant Blueface. Hmm. She said, I think she lost her tooth fighting women on the show Baddies. Baddies is Natalie Nunn's show. But okay. Blue is doing it for the plot. Yeah. Leprechaun, who, pow, pow. Oh, okay. Okay. I got you. Yeah. So Nevaeh's pregnant. He went away to be with Krishan. Mind you, though, he also put it in Nevaeh's head that, like, oh, I'm going to throw you a baby shower. You've never had a baby shower. You have a son, but you've never had a baby shower. I'm going to do that for you. And the man's like, okay, great. So in the midst of this baby shower coming up, he basically positioned it to where he's now back to dealing with Krishan. And so there was kind of this will they, won't they thing surrounding whether or not he was actually going to attend the baby shower with her or skip it to be with Krishan, whether or not Krishan was going to show up at the baby shower, and just all these different things, whether or not he's actually rekindling his romance with Krishan and moving in with her in another house and is going to leave Nevaeh in that house. It's a lot of stuff going on, but I want to kind of hone into this idea around agency because there's been a conversation online, many conversations online surrounding, women's agency. Um, but specifically around this idea of like, oh, if conditions aren't as such that you like, you should just leave. You can just leave. You shouldn't be holding anybody to these standards. There's this way that people are talking about, specifically around like casual sex. And the conversation is, when did society get this prudish? The kids don't want to have sex anymore. The kids don't want to have casual sex anymore, and they're getting on the nerves of the people who want to just have casual sex, who want to just stick and move, and they're moralizing casual sex to a point where they're making villains out of the people who just don't want to be in monogamous relationships just to have sex. And while in a general sense, yes, I do believe that you need to pay attention to the reality of situations. And if the reality of the situation does not match your standard, then it is up to you to remove yourself from that situation. But there's something I feel like within this conversation, what's getting lost is that nuance of these people who don't want monogamy and honesty. You remember when the conversation was about that voice note, for instance? I feel like people are conflating different things. So, whereas in the situation of that voice note, people are pointing out the ways that that voice note plays into being manipulative or being very slick and sly around language and therapy speak and things like that. It's like we're in this new phase where it's very easy for people to flip the script on people who are just like, look, I just want connection and I just want, I do want commitment or whatever it is. it's being flipped on its head to say, hey, you're actually the person that's moving weird and being manipulative by trying to get me to, commit to something that I don't want to commit to because I should be free to just be. It's just this whole bullshit. And what's getting lost in it is that people like Blueface are being pedestalized for being honest when, okay, yes, he's being honest, but he's also being manipulative and he's also being abusive, and it's all, like, it's just this weird thing going on. Now I want to make some things plain right off the bat. It's not a black or white thing, right? It's not a thing where if we scrutinize one, we can't scrutinize the other. And it's also not a thing where scrutinizing the, I'm using this language for lack of a better term, and just so you kind of understand the way it's positioned in the zeitgeist, the victim. So that would be the women. Typically, the women are being seen as the victims in this type of situation where the guy is being a player or whatever. We're making it where those people in that position are deserve scrutiny. Not only do they deserve scrutiny, but they deserve scorn. It's that whole bring back shame thing where it's like, we're going to shame this clearly vulnerable person. And the logic behind that is, oh, well, this other person doesn't give a fuck anyway, so it'll be easier to shame this other person into the desired behavior, assumably. And I'm so sick of that bullshit because it's just like, this seems like cruelty for the sake of being cruel. And while, again, I'm not saying that I'm not annoyed by some of the stuff I see. Like, I was compiling the clips that I'm going to be using to illustrate the stuff I'm talking about, and I was getting mad. And there are some strong critiques that I have specifically of that Nevaeh girl, around some of the things that were going on, because it got to a point where even she was bringing up what I was telling y'all about when it came to Krishan, drinking and smoking during pregnancy, and she called Krishan a baby disabler, and that was her way of like coming at her about her son's condition at this point in time. But it's like, you're still dragging the baby, kind of. And it's like, if you're calling yourself, because she was defending herself and saying, oh, well, I'm not actually talking about the baby, I'm talking about the mother and her behavior or whatever. But I got her in 4K being a little weird in terms of her own, I'm talking about her own standards of taking care of a baby, or doing bad by their own child. I have some clips of her not prioritizing her child either. You know what I mean? And again, this is not about trying to make one better than the other. This is not about trying to make exalt either one of them, because the truth of the matter is they're both losing. Nobody wins in this. Not Krishan, not Nevaeh, not any of the other women he's messing with, even though he has like this other girl on the side that he's talking about. His mom is weird too, because he had mentioned this other girl on the side, and he's very misogynistic. He was saying something like, oh, well, she doesn't have any kids, and so she's choosy. She can be choosy, and she's winning right now because she doesn't have any kids. She doesn't have any baby fathers, whereas he's constantly reminding Nevaeh she now has 2 children by 2 different men, even if he is one of the men, but talking about that in a negative. And then his mother was talking about, hey, Mary, his mother was even talking about this other girl that he was talking about and saying, oh, yeah, she keeps her body nice and all this stuff. Mom, that, we're going to touch on that too. It's a lot going on. It's a lot going on. So I'm going to look at my notes here. I'm trying to see kind of where I want to start because it's a lot. Okay. I'm just going to kind of run this down real quick so we have it. So, what I was saying, agency and external influence can exist simultaneously. A woman retaining the ability to make a choice doesn't mean other people aren't deliberately influencing, incentivizing, or discouraging or manipulating particular choices that they're making. And acknowledging manipulation does not erase a woman's agency. Um, so people are acting like recognizing, like being in a space where you can say, oh, this was the moment where you chose that person over yourself, or you chose that person over your self-esteem, makes you the one in the wrong, or you know, positions you to be scrutinized in this moment. But you I'm trying to word this right. Acknowledging that a woman has agency doesn't erase the fact that she was manipulated. When you say she's grown and she can lead, it doesn't resolve the question of whether another person may be messing with her mind, or like manipulating her, or playing into the type of things that will make her feel like it makes sense to stay engaged in that situation. Because one of the things that these conversations don't account for is the fact that people are attached to particular people. And that was one of the reasons why I wrote this book, because at the end of the day, and I know like everybody does not have a baby. And it's so ironic that like these women in particular are the type of women that when I started this platform, I was thinking that I would be talking to. Honestly, this this type of situation is the type of situation that this book was made for. And I say it's ironic because it doesn't seem like these particular women are in a position where they want to do that. I won't say that. That's not true. I'm jumping ahead because Krishan is a little bit farther along in that kind of introspective, trying to make changes, but doesn't necessarily see, not necessarily that far along on the path, but has started on the path. So I won't say that about them. But accountability includes establishing one's own boundaries, yes, communicating them clearly, and acting, moving when they aren't respected. And just saying, look, we're just not compatible right now, so I have to move on. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's valid. But accountability becomes oversimplified when we assume everybody involved is operating in good faith. And that's what I feel like these conversations are kind of like pissing me off on, because we want to have these hypothetical conversations where everything is perfect. And that's not the reality that women are living in. We're not living in a society where every dude is coming up and saying, pardon me, my lady, would you like to indulge in some romping sex tonight? And then we go about, like, people are not approaching you like that. They're looking at what you seem to want. They're trying to figure out who you need them to be in order to bust it open. They'll give you just enough to get what they can get out of you. And then once you give it, it becomes, oh, well, you gave it. You didn't make me give you more. You gave it at this point. And so therefore I did nothing wrong. And or whatever they said to you gets filtered out of any of the other things that they may be doing to encourage that part of you that they already noticed in you. They already noticed that you were a little anxious of attached. They already noticed that you were a little codependent. They already noticed, things like you being a fatherless child or whatever. You know what I mean? Like there are different things that we've heard them talk about that they notice in people and they look for, because they know that you're going to attach to them with little or no effort on their part, or even if they treat you badly. So I'm not saying that casual sex in and of itself is a bad thing. I'm not saying non-monogamy is a bad thing. I'm not saying people wanting different relationship structures is a bad thing. I'm saying that we're assuming that when people disclose these type of desires, that automatically establishes a good faith conduct afterwards. And that's the part where I really want to dig into, as well as some of the ways that I do see, I'll say Krishan specifically moving, like I said, in a way that notes that she's kind of trying to, the wheels are turning in terms of her analysis of the situation and her measuring it against the experience she wants to have. Because a lot of the work that we do here, I'm talking about having a vision for your future. I'm talking about like kind of removing this person, in this case, it would be Blueface, as the North Star of, okay, what is the purpose in my life? What is the aspiration in my life? And kind of going, no, how do I actually want to feel? How do I actually want to live? What do I want to think of myself? Or what do I want other people to think of me? But basing it in the personal experience as opposed to the proximity to that person. Um, Now, some people may benefit from partners whose desires are like asymmetrical to theirs, kind of skewed. And someone saying they want to be free sexually, they want to be polyamorous, or they just don't want to be tied down. Preferring partners who want exclusivity from them is very common, because that dynamic of having a person who wants you and only you provides emotional, relational, sexual, status, and or control benefits to that person who's being honest. In this case, it would be Blueface. And honesty about the idea that, okay, I said I wasn't going to be your man, I said we weren't going to be exclusive or whatever, doesn't necessarily mean that he isn't manipulating participation. Because I actually saw a clip of the girl Nevaeh. I don't know if she was pregnant or not in this point, but I saw a clip of the girl Nevaeh packing her bags one day and him being like, where you going? You not going nowhere. So that right there tipped me off to, even though I've seen so many other clips of him basically saying, what is you here for? And this will end when you leave and all this other stuff, that you'll say, okay, he doesn't want her there. He doesn't like her. He's allowing her to stay, but he doesn't like her. And he's not making it a nice environment for her. But in that particular clip, when I saw her packing her bags and him going, where you going? Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? If you're trying to get this girl to, have more self-esteem or whatever, why is it that when she says, hey, actually, you're right, I'm going to go, that you're acting as if you don't want her to go, or you're not going to allow her to go? Where does that come from? And why are you doing that, knowing that if you were sitting in her face, because some of the things you're going to see him say to her, you'd be like, girl, why are you sitting there and let him say that to you? But the fact that she let you say them type of things to her in her face, you already know that if you're saying something that would appear, even to me on the outside, that you don't want her to leave, that she's going to put 100 on 10, is what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying? And the behavior that occurs when somebody tries to leave, that matters. I said this all the time about like my oldest daughter's father. I tell you all the time, we weren't together. He said we weren't together. He said he didn't want to be with me. I have no problems around that. My problems lie in the moments when I would say to him, hey, I am respecting your decision that you don't want to be with me in this way, but that means I don't want to do this or this or this. That means you don't have this kind of access to me. And he specifically would change his desires in that moment. He would specifically have these different conversations with me where it was like, well, maybe I was hasty, or maybe we don't necessarily have to be in a relationship, but we could be working towards a relationship. He wouldn't allow me to sit in a space that was definitively detached from him, because he understood that my boundary was that if we're not doing this, then we're not doing this. And so when you're dealing with someone who, it's not as cut and dry as, oh, well, I just want something different than you want. These people still want something from you. These people still want something from the person who wants monogamy or wants a certain type of interaction that they know they don't want and they know they don't intend to give. All right, so now once I've established that that's where I'm coming from, we can kind of get into the clips. Let me check on you guys first, what you're saying. He's depraved. Yeah. Let me see. I've been so heavily triggered and irritable, so I've been avoiding a lots of things and people. This is good because this topic will be filtered through us here, so I'm good. I'm good too, Mary. Thank you. It said it depends on where she is in the abuse cycle. Yeah. Krishan is an addict and Blue prays on that. Uh-huh. And then they shame you for believing what a man says. Yes, because if that's your man, I always say, like, even though I talk tough about relationships and this and that and the other, the thing is, I don't try to be in relationships anymore because I don't see it as a safe environment to be the way I feel like a person is supposed to be able to be in a relationship. It's not that I feel like, oh, yeah, you should be tough in a relationship. No, to the contrary. I feel like I should be able to trust. I feel like I should be able to trust the person that I'm laying down with and the person that I'm allowing access to my body. I should be able to trust that person. I should be able to give them the benefit of the doubt. I should be able to assume the best and not the worst. So if I'm in a position where I'm expected to assume the worst, because if the worst happened, I will be held accountable and me alone for it happening and for offering myself up for it. I don't want to be bothered with that dynamic. I'd rather stay, because what you're saying to me is that these people are not safe. That's what you're saying to me, is that these people are not safe. And even if I'm going to deal with them, I cannot assume that they are safe. So if I can't assume safety and I can't experience safety, what the fuck am I doing it for? What the fuck am I doing it for? Because part of, again, going to experience, what do you want the experience to be? I want to be able to relax. I want to be able to relax. I want to be able to assume that I'm safe. I want to be able to assume that the person that I am interacting with in this intimate way is equally invested and cares about how I feel and considers my feelings and doesn't want me to hurt. So if you're telling me that within a relationship, I cannot assume these things, why the fuck would I get into a relationship? That's the way I'm looking at it. Everybody can look at it the way, but that's the way I'm looking at it. If you're telling me that if any little thing and mind you, you might say, oh, well, why are you worrying about what outside people are saying? It's not that I'm worrying about what outside people are saying. I'm saying that I've experienced these things. I've taken the risk of being vulnerable enough to be willing to be wrong, right? And then when it goes wrong, I'm worse off in the end because now I've got all this scrutiny on me around having made these decisions and it going wrong. And now I got to deal with all this scrutiny. Even if I don't agree to it, I still don't want to deal with it. You know what I mean? And just those shifts of mind frame around being chill and calm and nothing's going on in my life and everything is chill to chaos and heartbreak and feeling bad and feeling betrayed and having to build myself up again. It's like, I don't, it's not worth it to me. To me. That's threatening. But it also gives him plausible deniability to stopping her from leaving. Yeah. So I'm gonna go to some clips. What do I want to do first? Okay, so again, I told you we would be talking in terms of my book, right? And hold on. Okay, I wanted to stop that, make sure. So I'm going to play some clips to kind of get you to understand what I see in the dynamic between him and Nevaeh and also him and Krishan. And some of the ways I'm talking about, I want you to, in these clips that I'm going to show you, I want you to see number one, the difference between how he treats Krishan and how he treats Nevaeh. I also want you to notice the things that Nevaeh does during these conversations when he's saying these things to her. Because that's important.
Like third kid with you.
No, if you get another baby dad,
Oh no, fuck no. I'm sorry. I would get my
well,
tubes
not
tied.
even another baby dad. You already you already cooked.
Why?
You got 2 kids and 2 baby dads. So look, this how it's gonna go. Nigga gonna fuck you, and then he just gonna be like, you ain't got no time to even be around a nigga enough to conquer the nigga anyway. So
Yeah.
like, if I meet a bitch with 2 kids and 2 baby dads, I know I could just fuck on her because she got to go back to her 2 kids and 2 baby dads. That's like you feel me? That's the best bitch to turn out. Like, I'm make her look my little hoe. Bitch ain't got enough time. I could fuck all type of other bitches because she got 2 kids and 2 baby dads. She has to go somewhere. She can't do it like how you doing it and just stay at a nigga house and just play house and shit.
I
She
guess I
gotta
made
go
the second
home.
child with the right man.
And while she at home, I'm gonna be fucking the shit out of a whole nother bitch. I'm trying to give you the game.
But if I have a third one, it's over.
No, no, no,
Like third kid with you.
no. If you get another baby dad,
Oh no, fuck no. I'm sorry.
I paused it because who is light skinned with muscle? What are y'all talking about? Trials and tribulations to find your vote, right? Oh, who is light skinned with muscles? Girl, the amethyst, not right now. Don't distract me. I want to replay this and I'm going to replay it silently because I want you to watch her body language. We heard what he said, and I'm going to go over what he said. She was saying something about having a third child, specifically having a third child with him. And he's like, no. So he's distancing himself from the idea that he would have another child with her. Mind you, I would assume that this child was not planned either. So basically, if you want to have sex with this girl and she is not going to protect herself from getting pregnant by you, then you probably will be having another child with her if that's what she wants to do. But that's a whole nother conversation. But he's basically saying, I don't want a child with you. And you're in a position now where you now have 2 baby fathers and 2 children and no man. And any man that's coming to deal with you is going to be judging you based off of these things. And this is what they're thinking about you. So I want you to look at her. Mind you, everything that she's saying with the projection that they're going to continue to be together. He's saying these other things, and she's having a reaction to these things that he's saying. Why? Because she knows that he does not mean to stay with her. So when he's saying these things, he's saying, this is what I'm going to do. I want you to watch her body language. Even though she's talking and saying, oh yeah, I'm going to be with you, and projecting that into the future, it's still hitting her on some level. So I want you to watch her body language. Okay, so I'm going to, not remedial rainbow, I'm going to read a part from my book. And let me put the thing up here. The saying goes, the truth is a hard pill to swallow. The validity of this saying is heavily apparent in the way single mothers feel the need to mask the pain, shame, embarrassment, regret, and fear of not only what may happen, but also of what they may have forfeit by having their children. Freedom, baggage free dating, the perfect family image. By constantly and defensively insisting how much they love their kids, how much of a blessing their kids are, and when they feel those kinds of truths creeping close. There's also Oh, after many years of reflection, soul searching, and unabashed honesty with myself about myself, I've come to the understanding that my actions during the first 8 years of my oldest daughter's life were driven by number one, the womanly fear that I had permanently handicapped myself in the dating market, if not disqualified myself outright by becoming a single mother. Mind you, we just saw him dr- driving that home for her. He does this multiple times in some of the clips that I'm going to show. The childhood fear of causing my child to feel like valued a man's presence in my life over hers. We're going to kind of see some of that with her. My self worth was damaged by the pain and shame of getting pregnant under those circumstances. I had put myself under tremendous stress and pressure to live up to. The standard of motherhood I felt my own mother had failed to afford me. This triggered me in an obsessive need to redeem my value as a woman by getting my daughter's father to marry me, simultaneously achieving my goals of properly prioritizing her and her needs and satisfying my own carnal desires without having to sleep around. The result, however, was me rationalizing letting my daughter's father and other men use me as a living sex doll, using unprotected sex as a substitution for emotional intimacy, and idealizing my relationship with him as some cosmic event instead of the bad decision it was for years to come. This girl is very much so tied to the idea that she is going to be with him, even though he continuously keeps telling her they're not really together like that. They're not together the way she wants to be. She's allowed to stay around. He talk about being on his program and all this other stuff. But basically, the way that he talks about her and about her situation outside of him, just generally, you have this many kids and this many baby fathers. He paints this picture to her that says, you are fucked. You have nothing else to live for. He also talks down on her as a person, like within her own right. And I will say that her ideas about herself are a bit underdeveloped. Like she doesn't seem to have any particular purpose or plan for herself. But the way that he utilizes that aspect of her personality is on purpose. You know what I mean? It's not meant to empower her the way people try to make it seem like, oh, he's being honest and he's telling her about herself and this and that and the other. But he's doing it in a way that he knows is going to make her double down in, well, this is all I've got. He is all I've got. I really don't have any better prospects going out into the world and trying to figure out how to build a life for myself now. Let me see what other clips I feel like I want to show. Oh, here's another one. Mm-hmm.
I'm the best nigga you found.
If I have a
You here for a fucking reason.
Here I am.
Can't find no fucking better. I'm the best nigga you found. The best nigga you got.
Well, here I am.
Here you are. So
I'm
don't
with
act
you.
like it's too late now.
I,
Ain't none of that shit. You not going no fucking work.
yeah, we're about to be a family.
Yeah. Don't act like you just putting up with this shit because of that. Nigga, you pray for this shit.
It's like he playing on my motherfucking bladder.
You stood in line for this shit.
God damn.
You snuck around in hotels for this shit for years.
You used to slow me the fuck
You
out.
got slid out for years in hotels for this shit. Now you look at you.
That's why I said I can only imagine what you.
I'm fucking the shit out their ass. Not no more. What I'm saying when I was. Yeah. The hotel bitches might get some good dick. You here for a fucking reason.
Here I am.
Can't find no fucking better. I'm the best nigga you found. The best nigga you got.
Well, here I am.
Here you are. So
I'm with you.
don't act like it's too late now.
I,
Yeah, it's horrible. So it's like when we're having these conversations about, oh, people can just leave, you're not factoring in the fact that this person is a diminished person. She clearly is not in a space where she is just this bright and shiny person that has the whole world ahead of her, that feels like she has the whole world ahead of her and is just deciding to be with this guy. This guy is chipping away, scraping away. I won't even say chipping. He's scooping away at whatever little self-esteem and self-image she has left. So when you're saying, oh, you need to leave, where do you think she thinks she has to go? And there's also, I don't think I put any clips because there's so many clips, but there was also a point in time where they were on the way to the baby shower, and they were arguing with each other because Krishan had come to the house before they left, and she was mad about that. So she was saying all types of shit. And then he comes back at her about her being in a shelter with her oldest son and how she ain't had no family and nobody cared enough about her to make sure she couldn't go to a shelter. And then she was kind of bringing up some of her family members that were kind of speaking against him in one way or another. He was saying, well, they don't matter because they didn't help you stay out of the shelter, so fuck them. And like isolating her emotionally and mentally. Gray rock would be beneficial for her here. He's an asshole. You can tell it comes from a lack of self-love on his part too. The thing is, she tries to like play these games. She tries to be in a space where she's kind of gray rocking. She'll be like, oh, okay, I'm just trying to be soft. I don't know why you're fighting. I'm not yelling. And Krishan tried it too. But the thing about that is, it's not about whether you're gray rocking or not, because she's not leaving. Because at the end of the day, she's in his house. You know what I mean? She's on his stream. Everything that her life is built around his resources. Her life is built around him. And so, yeah, she can sit there and be quiet and shrink herself and try to calibrate to what's going on so that she's not going, ah. But if she's still there, he's still won. They can recognize Hanoi Hannah during Vietnam War as psychological warfare, but they don't see how this is the same. Exactly. He's also humiliating her publicly to make it harder for her to find someone, not even to make it harder for her to believe that she can find someone else. Because here's the thing. I say it all the time. I know what people's assumptions are about me based off of even just coming into a space with the name Level Up Single Mom. I already know, and I've experienced the way people come at me weird because the name says Level Up Single Mom. So that lets you know that I'm a single mom. And I've had people start engaging with me in ways that I know are specified to this belief about what a single mom is and therefore who I am, right? I don't agree. I don't answer to that stuff. I don't move from that place, right? However, if she's in a space where she doesn't know herself, because he'll ask her questions like, what are you going to do with your life? What are you going to do with yourself? What do you have going for you? This and that and the other. And she doesn't have any answers. She doesn't seem to have any answers, but I would posit that it's not that she doesn't have any answers because she doesn't have anything going for her. She doesn't have any answers because she never had the time to try to figure out and ask herself, well, what do I have going for myself? What do I want? What's going on? Because if this is a young person who didn't even have enough help when she had her first child to be able to go and live with somebody else, she had to go into a shelter. She's probably been in survival mode. And it's clear that she's still in survival mode now, to me. So you're saying Gray Rock will only work if she's leaving. I'm genuinely asking so I understand what you mean. I feel like I get it. I just want more clarity. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, Gray Rock works in a situation where it's like, say for instance, if I'm with my baby father but I know that we're not going to have much contact beyond it. We're in a situation, let's say we're at a party for my daughter. We're at her graduation or something, right? I'm going to sit through that proximity to him because we're doing this thing, but that's temporary. So yeah, in the moment, I can gray rock with him because I got to get through that moment. But then what happens when that moment is done? And this is a person who they go through back and forth all the time, and he won't be there, and she'll be there knowing he's with somebody else, and she'll be saying, oh, well, people think I'm going to leave. I'm not going to leave. Nobody's going to trick me out of my spot. She's not leaving. He knows she's not leaving. So yeah, in that moment, she may sit there and go, okay. And he's just going to keep saying that stuff because that perpetuates the idea, number one, that she has nowhere else to go, and number two, that nobody's going to want her. So yeah, in that moment, it may help her to try to numb herself but it's not helping her overall because it's not helping her build up enough of whatever she needs to say, okay, I got to get out of here. And while he gets emboldened by it, he's going to go on and on and on and keep saying those things that reinforce the idea that she has nowhere to go and that nobody would want her if she did. Living in great, yes, is disassociated. That's why I was saying, like, look at her body language. And even she does it all the time. When I see these clips, I see her do the same thing. He'll say something really wild that's irrefutably pointing to the fact that he does not respect her, that he's going to do what he wants, that he's going to do the exact opposite of whatever it is she's asking him in the moment. And she will either try to start changing the subject, or she'll kind of look off to the side, or she'll go, because you can see it like seeping in, but she stops it and then she gets back into that mode of, oh, well, I'm going to argue with you, or I'm going to try to disarm you, or I'm going to laugh, or you get what I'm saying? It's never just going, this is making me sad. I'm sad all the time. I'm sad a lot. I don't like this. This doesn't feel good. You get what I'm she never stays in that. You'll see her feel the sadness, but then she immediately pushes something else to the forefront, whether it's fighting, whether it's, like I said, trying to get him to calm down and placate him, whatever it is. But she never just goes, I don't like this and I need to do something about it. Now, that's not true. She does. Where is that? Let me see. It's not that. We can look at this one because she does have a few moments like this, but she'll do this, and then, like I said, she winds up staying. By the time he comes back, she's still there when he gets there, or she winds up getting into this space where she starts talking about how nobody's going to trick her out her spot and this and that and the other. So, oh, wait, girl.
It's funny and stuff. You got Karen behind me. You think that shit's funny and it's not. That's fucked up, but it's cool. It's funny.
I'm not good at stuff like this. I'm not good at this.
I don't trust you. I don't. You're going to the door laughing and thinking it's funny and it's stuff. You got Karen behind me. You think that shit's funny and it's not. That's fucked up, but it's cool. It's funny.
I'm not good at stuff like this. I'm not good at this.
I don't trust you. I don't. You're going to the door laughing and thinking it's.
Sorry, I was trying to find the thing. It was playing over again. So that was a clip from the day of her baby shower. Mind you, you see how he sits there and talks about how she don't have nobody's going to want her, this and that and the other. Another thing that he does to keep her feeling like, oh, there's something special there, is he does things for her. And one of the things he called himself doing for her is giving her a baby shower, because she never had a baby shower. And so there's been this build up to her having this baby shower, whatever, but he also was very methodical about bringing Krishan into the picture to make that, oh, is he going to show up or is he going to be with Krishan, a real thing for her there. So that particular day, he went out with Krishan, was with Krishan pretty much every free minute before the last possible minute before they needed to get ready to go to the baby shower. So he comes back to the house. Some people are saying he came back to the house in a car with Krishan, or if Krishan just came up after he got there. I don't know, but Krishan is outside the door at that point. What you're seeing in that clip is her reacting to the knowledge that Krishan is outside the door. And so now she's feeling like, oh, this is too far. This is too far. Like, you doing all this stuff and you're embarrassing me all these other ways, but you couldn't even like not have her. You had her come here today of all days. That's what you're seeing from her. And she's spazzing out. And you notice he said, I don't know what to do with this. Why? Because that was an unfiltered response. That was an unfiltered response. She was just emoting. She wasn't filtering it. She wasn't trying to dampen it for him. She wasn't trying to, placate him, nothing. She was saying, this does not feel good. I do not like this. You are doing me wrong by doing this, and I'm not holding back on how I feel. And he didn't know what to do with it. It said what Blueface did the day of her shower was not okay. She had no business with him, but he didn't give it. That was whack. And another platform, Blueface didn't do it. It was horrific. It definitely, and it's one of those things because it's like there's no reason. There's no reason. You don't have to be that cruel. You don't have to be that mean. But we also have to understand, and this is, I'm going to show some stuff to kind of give you a background of who he is. I'm going to wait for that because he's not the main meat and potatoes of this. It gives you some information about it. We're going to kind of go into his relationship with his mom and stuff, but I want to stick to the girls and the women. So what do I want to show next? I want to show you this because then I'm going to show you the next clip, what I'm talking about in terms of this idea about, they can just leave, but this person is encouraging a bond. And first I'm going to read part of my book. Is that still up? No, it's not still up. I'm going to read you a part of my book that's about the bond. Sorry, I didn't. Oh. I don't have my glasses on. I'm not putting them on yet. I can still laugh. So the bond will have you so confused as to how your boyfriend would prioritize anything and anyone over your desires when you are the obvious love of his life. The bond keeps you in a perpetual state of righteous indignation at the perceived dismissal of your feelings by him and everyone else in the entire world, despite the fact that he is not your man, might even have a new woman, and never really prioritize your wishes if and when you were together in the first place. The bond will have you thinking that you have any say at all on how he lives his life and conducts his relationships, despite every demonstration to the contrary. The bond will have you making enemies out of other women and wasting your energy trying to keep them from enjoying what you covet. But the most diabolical function of the bond, however, is providing yourself an excuse for continued sexual contact with your baby father. When I talk about a bond, the bond is, I'm showing my age here, but some of y'all may have remembered, for instance, Stevie J from Love and Hip Hop. And we'll go a little bit closer to this, Peter Guns and Amina and Tyra. I would say Peter Guns and Amina and Tyra, and they're a big part of the reason that this book exists. Because Peter Guns is the worst perpetrator of this idea of the bond. Because you could see that was exactly what he was using to not only keep them women in a perpetual state of goo goo gaga over him, but he was using it to justify what he was doing, because in his mind it wasn't bad because it was all about love. They loved each other. It was from love. The kids were from love. The chaos was coming from love. I love them. What do you want me to do? My hands are tied. I can't do anything because I love them, right? I feel like them type of niggas are the worst type of niggas, right? But even when you're dealing with a Blueface / Stevie J type person, a person who knows the plans that they have for you, knows that they are not for your good, and knows that they are just trying to exploit that idea that y'all have a unique connection. Because that's really what it's about. It's about the idea that, yeah, he may have connections with other women, but our connection is unique. It's unique. It's irreplaceable. There's no way that he's experiencing what he experiences when he was with me with these other women. So yeah, he may want to have a variety of experiences, but this experience is set apart and it's worth maintaining. That is the bond. And so I wanted to preface this next clip with that. Let me see what y'all are saying first. She must get in her own house. That man talked about them being in a shelter out of line. Yeah. She said Stevie J too had the nerve to hold cheater. Listen, they offered it to him, so he better, he got all them fucking kids. He better work. I mean, sorry, y'all. I got all these things open. Okay.
I get
Said now what?
I said, ain't no difference to it now. I've been getting left my whole pregnancy.
Oh my god.
Oh my.
Are you kidding me?
Oh my god.
This has been the best pregnancy I've had for a female. Literally. I treated you the best. Usually, like, I have a whole nother girlfriend while someone's pregnant. Because pregnant women, you guys don't listen. So then I just, you know, I've been thugging this shit out with you the whole time. Since the day you got pregnant.
Yeah.
And that's what you say?
That's what you mean. Right. You have, yeah. But what the fuck, Jonathan?
See, that's the shit I be talking about. That's why sometimes I just need to leave. Said now what?
I said, ain't no.
So you see there that she says something about getting left her whole life. She's talking about, that wound of abandonment, of not having somebody there for her. And he says, I've been with you. Not only have I been with you through this pregnancy, you're the only female that I have been with like this through pregnancy. You're the only female that I've been there for through pregnancy. And like I said, he went out of his way to say, hey, I'm going to throw a baby shower for you. So these are those types of things that I'm talking about, where he's encouraging this idea that they have a unique bond with each other. He's playing into that. Letting this nut in them is nuts. I heard they use this. Girl, leave me alone. I don't even care. I got too much to talk about. I can't even bother with that. I don't know nothing about that. So what was I about to do? Oh yeah, so you saw him pointing into the mine, and there was something else. I couldn't find it, but there was a clip of them on the way to the baby shower, and he was talking to her, and he was talking to her about how she was the only one who did something for him when he was in jail, and that's why he fucks with her. He don't fuck with Krishan. But mind you, the backstory behind that was he had just gotten into a fight with Krishan. He had been with Krishan like hours before, but Krishan wouldn't do what he wanted her to do. And so then he had to make her feel better. And he would kind of do that whenever he would get in an argument. It's just like, who was I watching when we was watching The Polygamist? And remember how when he was cheating on his wife, everything was cool for him because, he could go to the side chick and say, she's getting on my nerves. And the side chick be like, yeah, she's a bitch. And he could go home when the side chick was getting on his nerves and be like, yeah, I love you, baby. Fuck that bitch. And she'd be like, yeah, fuck that bitch. She's a whore, right? But then when the wife got hip and said, you know what? I'm going to make it so we're all married. Bring her into the marriage so that I don't have to keep feeling like I'm hiding something and feeling like a fool, or at least that big of a fool. It'll look like I'm in on the joke too. And so then when they both became parts of the family and they started acting as family together, he couldn't triangulate them the same way, right? So he's triangulating these girls against each other. And one of the ways that he was triangulating them is making one feel like they're the better woman and he fucks with them and not her because she has this quality over the other woman. The dentist girl, that dentist system. I'm gonna have to find a clip of that one day that I can use, and we can work on that. Letting her know she's the real. Yeah. Okay, so this is how he feels about women thinking they're better than the next chick, right? Watch this shit.
So when these bitches get beside themselves, like, oh, I'm better than her, bitch, no, you're not. No, you're not. You're not. School crip, like, you're not. You know what I mean? Like, my take on the circus is like, I'm gonna sound like an asshole, but fuck it. All these bitches are getting. I'm treating them all like shit. All right. So for you to think that you getting treated like shit is better than her getting treated like shit. Whoop they do? I don't see it. I don't see how you would think some shit like that. Like, yeah, he treated me like shit too, but he's treating her like worse shit. No, it don't work like that. It doesn't work like that, baby. I'm sorry. I know you feel, you think, maybe you're confident. You're having a good week or something, but I don't know if I want to hear that. It doesn't work like that for me, chat. I don't know. Maybe the audience seems to think, you guys have your favorites and whatnot. But for the most part, when it comes to me, chat, I'm putting these bitches through the same processing, like, like it's that's the thing about me, like it's like a career, like I'm putting these bitches through the same process. Like they're all getting processed the same. Now they respond and react differently to the process, and for me personally, that's how I determine if it's a long-term thing or a short-term thing. Now, what these females fail to realize is if dick is if dick is like your main act to the circus, you're not gonna be, you're not gonna be the closer, you're not gonna be the person that's so.
It had ended. Now, I want to, and this is a good time to segue into his views on male centered women because he has a very particular disdain for the idea of a male centered woman. Right? Oh, good. This is right along time. I think it's so good. I think this outline so good. I'm looking at like every single thing that I've shown. Every clip is in order. But he has a very particular idea about male centered women, and he talks about like his mom being male centered or whatever. So I'm gonna go ahead and share that.
That are male centered. It reminds me of my mother. I do not like females that are male centered. It reminds me of my mother. I'm gonna say that again. I do not like females that are male centered. It reminds me of my mother. I do not like females.
He's streaming, so that's part of the thing. Like to have those sounds, that's pretty standard with the streaming. He be on Kick, I think. So they do that type of. It's part of that culture. Um, I'm going to skip ahead a little bit now because since he was talking about his mom, I want you to see. No, okay, you can see it. You can stick with me. I want you to see him talking about his mom or arguing with his mom because this is going to be relevant to some stuff that I would have talked about with Nevaeh later. But once we go with and get centered in how he feels about his own mother specifically and outwardly male-centered women. Then we're going to kind of go in, because what he just said is relevant to Krishan. We're going to get into the analysis of the Krishan part. So now let's look at him arguing with his mom. Hold on, girl. Not yet.
I really just came in here to Jonathan. I feel like you are like bashing us women. Like, I feel like you need to get it together. Your dad would have never did this. Okay? Your dad never called me bitches and whores. And I know that's been your act for a minute.
That's probably the way you are.
Jonathan, you just said, yo, I really just came in here to Jonathan. I feel like you saw your daddy get up and go to work and do suits and ties, and your mama with a lot of men. Do you know how fucking hard I worked for you? Way harder than your dad.
I've seen my dad sustain.
You saw your dad put a suit on and go to work a couple of years. Before that, he was a Rolling Stone just like you. Okay?
Let me know when I can talk.
Then did I not let your dad come and stay at our house when he didn't have nowhere to go? Did I ever have to go stay at his? When you went to go live with your dad, you lived in a shithole. When you lived with me, you lived comfortably. You had your own room, your own space. When you lived with him and them prostitutes, this is where you're getting it from. You're making the whole world think that you had this awesome, amazing father, and you really had an awesome, amazing mother. And maybe that's really what's hurting you in the inside. Is that your mom did your dad's job.
My mother was so awesome. That's why I'm hurt on the inside.
Yes, and that's why you're blaming women. Like, just tell the chat, when was you ever without a room at my house?
Why are you hurt on the
And then
inside?
tell them when you had one at your dad's house, because I don't ever remember you having a room at your dad's house.
And you think that's
You had a corner, a shelf, maybe like a jail cell over there, but you never had a room there.
And you think that's what matters to kids?
I think it isn't a matter. You're an adult now. You should remember where your foundation came from, a woman. You got your name from a woman. You got your game from a woman. Okay?
You literally got that from Tupac. That's a man.
Yes, thank you.
You got that from a man.
I'm repeating it because it's right.
It came from a man.
I'm repeating it because it's right. You had a lot of niggas. I had a sugar daddy and I had a boyfriend. If your daddy would have been doing what he was supposed to do, baby, I wouldn't have had to have no sugar daddy. I had to get help. Just like this young lady over here to get help. Because another nigga failed her. That's not our fault. Yes, it's our fault for laying down and opening our legs for some good dick. But we didn't know better then. When you know better, you do better. I don't know why she done did this shit twice.
You did it 3 times.
Bitch, 3 times. Let him ask him. And I got 3 child support checks, too.
Oh, God.
Well, 2.5. 3, really. 1 from my sugar daddy, 1 from his daddy, and 1 from my daughter daddy. So, yes. And he lived very well. So why he's over here putting all this pressure on the chat to think that us women, nigga, you had a arm coach. You had what no nigga you know has ever had. Why do you do this to us women? Because your dad didn't give it to you? Because he didn't have you out there paying for the arm coach?
What's false is that you think things that do not matter to me today
It
matter
doesn't
more
it matters to you. It
than the
matters to
trauma
God.
that you
It
caused
doesn't
by
matter.
being the way you are.
Okay, tell me what trauma. What trauma did you have?
Watching you domestically, violently have altercations with your.
I'm pausing this because this is the part I really want y'all to lock in for, okay? And keep this in your mind as we move forward.
Kids and multiple men.
What multiple
I would
men
rather
have?
be in I would rather be in a tent
Tell the chat what
than
multiple
to watch
men.
my mom and his
Tell
daughter
the chat
fight a man
you,
that my
you-
mom is laying down
you didn't
with.
help. That's why you.
Why would I?
It's okay. We didn't need your help.
I was 9 years old.
It don't fucking matter, nigga. If you was 3, you was supposed to help.
You want a 9-year-old to help you fight a grown
Jonathan,
man.
all I'm asking you,
And that's
is-
why
you knew that wasn't my fault.
I evaluate
You
my
knew
dad
that
the
wasn't-
way I do.
you
Because
knew-
listen to you.
Jonathan,
I ain't never had to
your dad
fight
shot a gun in
nobody
the
for
air
my
at me.
dad. I've never had
your
to
dad shot a gun in the air.
compromise myself at 9 years old.
Are you okay?
To fight somebody for my dad.
Okay?
My dad is responsible and grown enough to not put his
that
child
robbed you for
in that
$100,000.
predicament. What are you
Right?
talking
Did you
about?
say he robbed you?
Look how she talking about a 9-year-old, chat. But did you help us? I'm 9 years old. Wow, what can I do? You want me to hit the nigga like this?
Yes.
Get off my mommy!
If
Get off!
somebody's trying to fight your mom,
Man,
yes, that's what you're mad about. We
You're
didn't need your help, though.
crazy.
We didn't need
You
your help.
are
And that
crazy.
altercation was not me or Janice's fault. That was somebody who decided to
You
get
said it was Janice's fault.
No, I said she did not take no shit when she could have. She could have just sat there and been quiet. But when it turns out he went to jail because he was intoxicated, right? And we did not know that.
Okay.
Okay.
So why did
But you knew that already. So why did you lie to the chat? And who else? Who else did I have a domestic violence?
So why did this happen again?
Hold on. You said multiple men, nigga. Tell the chat who else I had a domestic violence with. Because me and my sugar daddy ain't never had a domestic violence. Not never in your motherfucking life, and you know it. Not once. Not even an argument in 20 years, and we are still best friends to this day. And I will have him on the show to validate what you and Andre sit here and lie about all the time. You're angry because what, Jonathan? Because you had a good mom?
You're validating.
You wanted more of your dad? Did you want more of your dad?
You're validating a sugar daddy.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
That's
You're a sugar daddy. You a sugar daddy to 3-4 bitches right now. You just don't want to accept it. You think they like you?
That's the best you got
to show. You think they like you?
That's the best conversation you got is your sugar dad?
Jonathan.
3 husbands and 3 baby daddies later, the only person you could vouch for is a sugar daddy.
What are you talking about? I just said we can call my ex-husband the
You're
one
an
that you're
amazing
talking
woman.
about right now because he doesn't like the way that you and Andre sit here and don't appreciate the mother that you have.
You're an amazing woman.
I know I am.
Yeah. There's nothing,
I know I am.
There's nothing
so what
wrong
is
with you.
your problem?
Oh, nothing at all.
What is your problem, Jonathan?
Oh, nothing at all. You're an amazing woman.
Tell us what your problem is. We want to know why you're so angry with women.
Because a woman like you, look at you.
Tell
me, validated.
You just sat there and
you
said
just
I had multiple domestic violence.
You just validated a terrible lifestyle that you showed to your kids. And
everybody have been in a situation where they have got into a fight with their significant other, Jonathan. And you need to stop.
My dad hasn't.
You're a goddamn lie. You just didn't see it. The reason you had a dad is because I wouldn't dare put him in jail.
My dad hasn't.
Yeah, because I wouldn't dare play with his life like that for your sanity.
Hey, you see how easy that is, Chad?
So that was important because I said before there are some things that I personally feel a type of way about when watching these clips or whatever, specifically around this idea of who's the better mother. And again, this is not because I'm saying either one of them is winning anything or aspirational in any kind of way, but specifically Nevaeh was upset about, like I said, Blueface dipping out with Krishan over that long weekend, whatever, him using Krishan to triangulate against her and make her feel type of ways and get, reactions from her. So one of the things that Nevaeh did was to start bringing up, and I talked about this earlier, Krishan's son and where he appears to be or not be developmentally. And so she called Krishan a baby disabler. And that became, mind you, this is because they're on streaming. This is a big topic. Like, this is a trending topic. So there are a lot of people, and we're very much so living in the days of the Hunger Games in a lot of ways, right? But one of the things that's happening is people are basically a team Krishan or a team Nevaeh. And so the team Nevaeh people were like, oh yeah, she dragged her, she gagged her good about calling Krishan a baby disabler, essentially talking about the baby's condition. Now, my thing is, in the clips that I've been seeing and going through and trying to figure out what was relevant, one of the things that stood out to me is Nevaeh, that clip that we just watched, Nevaeh is doing the same things. And I don't think she realizes that Blueface sees her the same way that he sees his mother. And not just because he just sees women that way, but because she is actually acting that way. She is prioritizing him specifically. She thinks it's different because he's supposed to feel a special way because she's loving him and prioritizing him. But he's looking at her and how she's not taking care of her son when it comes to him. Those things that he just said to Carlissa, I want you to keep it in your mind because we're going to watch a few clips now. But first, well, after I read this part of my book, let me put this back up. I'm doing good, y'all. I'm keeping up with promoting my shit. So, no matter how much you spend on extravagant clothes, toys, or trips, if you do not proactively deal with the negative feelings that you harbor about the harsher realities of your situation, they will manifest in the form of mood swings, risky and or overindulgent behavior, and an unhealthy to the point of obsessive need to try and control people and situations that aren't, never were, and never will be in your control. We've all been and seen this single mother before. She can be a combination of any or all of these characteristics. Combative against anyone giving her/her children constructive criticism or warranted correction. Aggressive towards anyone and everyone, including her children. Short-tempered, keep that in mind. Permissive, allowing her children to run all over her and anyone else unlucky enough to be in their vicinity. Allowing men to use and abuse her and or her children. Neglectful of her children by not attending to their needs in the most basic of ways, feeding, bathing, properly clothing them, etc. Not monitoring and establishing standards for academic performance and behavior, or spending all of her free time with men or in the streets. She could be neglectful of herself by not keeping herself reasonably presentable, isolating herself and or her children unnecessarily, and limiting her own options due to a sense of duty and or hopelessness. There's other parts to that, but those were the more relevant parts. So now we're going to watch a couple clips of her specifically dealing with how Blueface treats both her and her son and how she reacts to these situations. So this is, oh yeah, let's do this first.
I barely even kicked you.
You kicked me?
Oh no, I pushed you.
I didn't like that.
Oh, the impact.
Yeah, he didn't even realize the heck came off.
So that's one. Hold on. There's more.
Why are you what you just do? Go kick him back. Go kick him back. Go kick him back.
Hi, Tiny.
Like, shit.
Oh my God.
Okay, so mind you, again, want to emphasize, we just saw the clip of him airing his grievances with his mother, right? So one of the problems he had with his mother was you put me in a position where I would have had to defend you, and now you're mad at me because I didn't defend you from the men that you were keeping around me. You were bringing these men into our space. You were keeping the both of us or all of us, because she had other kids, in this position where this man could do these things to you, and now we're all having to deal with it, and you were looking for me to defend you. That's what he said he did not like about his mother, right? Okay. So let's go to These are a couple clips of the baby dealing with, what is going on around him. Her baby.
Club. I want to go to the what?
Oh my god,
Look
open
like a little ass
relationship.
girl or something. Like.
That was for clip. I don't give a fuck what you're talking about. I know what I want to strive for greatness. I want to prosper.
Where? When does it start?
As soon as this baby gets out of me,
And what you gonna do?
Go apply my pressure.
Sucking dick. Just say it.
I don't.
There's no pressure
I
that
don't
you
even
have
suck
that
your
can be
dick.
applied.
Why do you think I suck dick?
There's no pressure.
I don't even suck dick. Why do you?
What a pressure?
I don't
what
suck
pressure are you
dick.
gonna apply?
My potential, things that I've always wanted to do.
Like what? Why can't you do it now?
Because I don't have the energy to.
Why haven't you done it in 25 years of living?
Thanks for the platform, I guess.
Oh, there you go.
So appreciated for it.
All right, appreciate this shit. Because now I got you feeling like something you're not.
What does that mean? Because if that was the case, I would have been feeling like that my whole
Talking about
pregnancy.
some apply some pressure and get your spark back and get this and that.
I lost my spark. This whole pregnancy, I've been weighed down. I don't even
What
feel
spark?
the need. I don't
You've
feel
never
the need.
had a spark
Yes,
your
I've
entire
had.
life.
Yes, I have. Who are you to tell me that?
Sparking drugs? What you sparking?
What the fuck do you spark? A fucking Hennessy bottle with the next dumb bitch? What the fuck are you talking about?
No, I spark controversy, you know?
Yeah, a whole lot of
I
bullshit,
spark-
a whole lot of lies, a whole lot of nothing.
I spark fires, you know?
Barely even that. Them bitches get blew the fuck out.
Yeah. So what's your spark?
The fuck?
That's what I want to know.
Me
What's
gaining
the
my
spark?
confidence back. What are you talking about? I feel like I have zero confidence. Like, what are you?
Confidence in what?
Sit.
You don't think you pretty?
No, I don't. I don't feel pretty. I feel like shit. You are right.
Because you're pregnant.
Cute, Mom.
Yeah, you so cute. What are you talking about? Because you're pregnant, you don't feel good? It's literally the fourth quarter. It's the end of it.
Stop.
It's 9 months. I want to go.
That's not it. I got another. It's the same restaurant, but I got another clip from the same sitting space.
Anyway, that's the spark. Say that. Because all is, do my potential. You don't got no potential. All you know how to do is suck dick.
Don't say no shit like that. Real shit. Watch your fucking mouth. Don't say that. Especially in front of him. Don't say that shit, bro. Because he can go to school saying something. Like, don't say that.
Don't make it about him because he ain't even hear what I said.
He's listening.
You about to push the baby out. You about to be back skinny. Wait, that's the spark. Say that. Because all is, do my potential. You don't got no potential. All you.
Now, mind you, the baby is sitting there. Yes, kick him back, but I'm tiny. That's exactly, is that not exactly what Blueface was talking about with his mom? He said, you put me in a position where I had to fight against a grown man. I'm only 9 years old. That baby might be 5. That's one thing. Then I thought that second clip was going to show, because I saw this weeks ago. They was at that restaurant. You saw how he was talking to her. At one point, you saw how the baby was getting in her lap and she was like, sit down. She had no patience with him. At one point, she had started crying and the baby was trying to pull her face. Oh my God. It's making me emotional because I have a part in my book where I talk about my baby doing the same thing to me. The baby tried to, but we weren't around the nigga. She didn't see what was going on. She just saw me crying. He tried to pull her face to him to look at him. You saw how he was like, you're pretty, mommy, after the dude told her she was ugly or whatever he said. He was trying to distract her and give her positivity. And she was like, I'm overstimulated. Get off of me. To the baby. You see how the baby was like, hold my hand for reassurance because that nigga was fucking with him. And she's yelling at him, just kick him back. She has no patience for that baby. But anytime that nigga come in and talk to her like that, she'll start, oh, why are you acting like that? I'm trying to be soft with you. I'm trying to be calm with you. I'm trying to give you what you want. I'm trying not to be masculine. She's constantly putting all of her energy, all of her effort towards placating this grown-ass fucking man that keeps telling her that he does not like her. But she has nothing left to give her baby, who is actively trying to comfort her, actively trying to show her he loves her, actively trying to subvert the damage that Blueface is trying to do to her in the moment. He is being that protector that Blueface resents his mom for trying to make him that way. And I'm not saying that it's right that he's doing it. I'm not saying he shouldn't be in that position. He shouldn't be in that position. But that is significant to me that Blueface, number one, that Blueface has that specificity around what it is he doesn't like with his mother and how it is completely parallel to the way he treats this girl and her son. And then furthermore, you sit and say, oh, kids don't know, blah, 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 blah. The baby knew exactly, because as soon as he said that his mother was not nice looking, he went and grabbed her and said, you're so pretty, mommy. He knows exactly what's going on. He knows exactly what's going on. That is so sad. His behavior is demonic. Hey, Lorenza. The baby was trying to protect his mother's self-esteem. Yeah. She said, I just subscribed later. Oh, I'm glad you're here, so beyond. I ended up here. I'm a new single mom, and it's incredibly hard. My baby has helped me start the journey to becoming less male-centered. That's amazing, and it's so good. I'm so happy for y'all. This platform, this book, everything was because I was stumbling my way through this shit. Ooh, how many years ago? Ooh, like 20 years ago. I was stumbling my way through this shit, though. I didn't understand. Mostly, I didn't understand how men thought. I didn't understand that men thought that way. I didn't understand that men will spend their time, energy, and money to disrespect you, specifically to disrespect you, specifically to make you feel bad, to try to destroy you. I didn't know that they get immersed in it like that. She said that referring to I don't feel pretty. Yeah, the baby knew exactly what was going on. He's just spreading his trauma at this point. Yeah, like it's, and I used to think, and you'll see because I got clips of him with Krishan. Like I said, back in the day when he would be with Krishan mainly, and especially when she had the baby and when he first came out of jail and was hanging with her and the baby, he does act differently towards Krishan and her baby than he acts towards this girl. I have my theories about that. We'll get into that a little later. Again, doesn't mean I feel like Krishan's position with him is preferable. It's just that you'll notice there's difference in how he deals with them both, even though there are things that he has mentioned that he doesn't like about them that he has said that he sees in the both of them, but he's very, very different. Mostly, I think, because he's scared Krishan will fuck him up. She'll whoop his ass, and he knows this. But anyway, let's move on. Okay, so we did that part. Now we've already seen him telling Nevaeh horrible things. I think I belabored that. Krishan. So this is basically the time. These are some clips of the time that he spent with Krishan. I'm saying Krishan and Krishan's son. Which I feel like there's.
Yeah, look like girl and beat. Bought a couple, huh?
Nigga ain't robbing me. Nigga ain't fucking with no one.
I turned the music off because I don't got time for them trying to copyright me. Fuck them. People think that it's girl. I've been seeing so many things. I've been seeing so many people talking about. Oh yeah, between him and Nevaeh. Like anytime he smile at Nevaeh, anytime he do anything, they're like, oh yes, because that's his true love, and that other girl is delusional and blah 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 blah. Like it's fucking ridiculous. Okay, that's enough of that. So we see that one. I got like 2 more clips. I muted it on purpose. I know I muted me. I muted it. I was talking, then I muted myself and just started playing the thing. And then when the other one came on, I muted it because of the music because didn't want to get copyright strike. Sorry for the confusion. Thank you, everybody. I was doing it on purpose. She was singing. What's that song? Is that 1+1? Yeah, Beyonce singing 1+1 when they was dancing. But my point is, you see, the vibes are different, and even in moments like he'll give Nevaeh. Can you not hear me now? She said we could hear the clips well, some of it, but not you. Y'all ain't have to hear me at that particular moment. I recognized that I was like halfway talking and then I cut myself off, but I meant to. I'm sorry. It's fine. But you see how he's being very affectionate, very chill with her, very whatever. She said we wanted to hear you anyway. And now I'm not going to sit and say, because like I said, people online have been saying, oh, that's because that's his true love and this and that and the other. I don't feel like I see a difference. I definitely see a difference. He is very like, and if need be, we could show a few more clips that I haven't already shown of him talking to Nevaeh. He is not like, I haven't seen him be like that with Nevaeh, specifically not when she's pregnant. He'll be like, oh yeah, that's nice, a minute or two. Like she'll literally get a minute or two of some kind of affection, but even still, it's more like oh, big homie, see, I care about you. You know, like it's not in a sense of, hold on, I knocked my mic off. It's not in a sense in the same way where that is very intimate. He's kind of, yeah, that's right. He's very much so scared of Krishan. He's very much so scared. When they was arguing and she was saying she didn't want to stream, he said specifically, yo, I'm getting away from you because you starting to rev up and I don't want to get hit. She said it's like KC with TT in my opinion. I could be wrong. You talk about him and Nevaeh or Blueface and Krishan. I don't know which one you're talking about. But it's a difference. And what I'm saying is seeing the way he talks to Nevaeh. Nevaeh also was watching. Nevaeh also was experiencing that difference, recognizing that difference, and seeing the way that he talks to her and puts her down so much. Her seeing him with Krishan, that did something to her. You know what I mean? And that's just so cruel. But here's the thing. I wanted to show, let me see, is that all of them? Yeah. Yeah, we're on a way. We're at a good space. So I wanted to get back to like the conversation I was having. A person's initial reaction contains useful information before the rationalization begins. So remember when I was talking to you about Nevaeh's body language and the way that when Blueface would be talking to her and saying those awful, mean, cruel things, she would hear it and it would register to a degree that she would become visibly discomforted, but then she would shift and calibrate to get back into a space where she would cope. She would cope and she would disassociate. Like, you know, it would be coping, it would be disassociation, it would be fawning, it would be any and everything she needed to do to get through that moment, but knowing that she was not going somewhere. That's important. when it comes to Krishan, though, Krishan, her reaction to when Blueface recently, I'm not talking about in the past, but recently, to when Blueface has upset her or tried to cross boundaries with her is very interesting. And so now I want to kind of go into that. And mind you, these things happen before the baby shower. I have a baby shower recap that we can watch too, but we're going to watch this after this stuff with Krishan. So these are examples of a breakdown between Krishan and Blueface recently. This is after all the lovey-dovey stuff, right?
$24. If she could 13,500 for a 24-hour stream. Ooh. 24-hour stream?
No.
No. Shout out to Miss Nikki. Hey, chat. Y'all know you know how I do, chat. You give me 13,500. We're gonna do a 24-hour stream. Fuck what Rock say. Rock on. You know what I mean?
And I'm gonna break your camera.
You gonna break my camera?
Yeah, I just said no.
Why are you gonna break my camera?
I just said no.
Shout out to VV is Queen with the 5 gifted. You just put the chat on your back. One step closer to this 24-hour stream with Rock. Shout out to Mommy of 2 Kings for the sub. Hey, the Jody Joe. What's up, Jody? Shout out to you with the 10 gifted. Shout out to the Jody Joe, one of our loyal subscribers that's always
You know where my phone is?
subscribing. Should be very close by. Can't be far away.
I don't have it.
We'll find out.
Now, mind you, if you didn't catch it, they're streaming because, like I said, that's his thing now. He streams. He mentioned something about doing a 24-hour stream. Krishan said no. She said very clearly no. And then he kept mentioning it. He kept talking about it. And then Krishan is kind of like, okay, this feels like you're like testing my boundary. And she said, I already said no. Right? So I have a couple more clips within the same exchange.
Do a stream. I'm sitting here and we can maximize it now. I got a stream
Are you coming for me?
No, I'm just
You coming for me?
This and that.
You coming for me?
Never.
You coming for me?
Never coming for you.
Then calm down. You want me to get active?
Definitely, I want you to get active.
Then shut up.
Damn, calm down now.
All right.
Calm down there, little lady.
Bro.
Calm down, little lady.
Bro.
All right.
Calm down, little lady.
Bro.
All this energy for me
Bro.
is crazy.
Sorry, I had to pause because every time I watch this clip, it pisses me off. Who the fuck is that talking to her? That would have had me going off like the Tasmanian devil in it. Because who the fuck are even you? You supposed to be doing whatever your function is, holding the camera or whatever. Don't talk to me. Don't address. I'm quick to tell somebody don't address me. That pissed me the fuck off. But he in the background talking about some calm down, little lady. Bitch. Sorry.
Bro.
Calm down, little lady.
What the fuck?
Prison. This is not. Why are you? You're not. If you
I
don't
am.
want to fuck with me, why?
I am. Chill.
And
I'm
make threats
masculine.
and make everybody
What
feel
threats?
like
What?
you
You
just
literally said.
above everything.
You literally said some dumb shit. I'm like, what the
You
fuck?
just said you don't want to be a
Look,
streamer.
check this out.
That's
Check
not
this
what you
out.
said on that prison phone.
Look, check this out. Why are we doing this on the camera?
I fuck with you. I love you.
So fuck with me.
I'm fucking with you.
You're not. If you
I
don't want to
am.
fuck with me, why?
I am. Chill.
So fuck with me.
I am.
We
Chill.
didn't let you have your way
Chill.
all day.
Chill.
You turning off songs,
Chill.
all type of shit.
Chill.
Sometimes you gotta
Chill.
understand it's more
It's
than
a
just
camera.
you here.
It's a camera.
And
Chill.
it's more than just you here. Why are you?
Take it off. Take the mic off. Like, what are you doing?
Here you go with that shit.
What do you mean? Like, if you want to
It's
address
not all
something,
about
address
Krishan.
it. Just address it.
There's other people here.
Yo, okay.
This is not the Krishan Rock Show.
I'm not saying it is, bro.
So if we want to hear a song and you don't like the song, let it play.
Play the song.
If we want to do something that you don't want to do, let it happen.
Play the song.
Like what? You're not in
Play
control?
the song.
You don't control
Play the
us?
song.
There's no song
Play
to be played.
Okay.
Where you want to come eat
Okay,
at?
why are you like just
Because we've been catering to you all day, and
Look,
now you're just going too far.
About it. All I said was shut up, and now you mad. I'm sorry.
You didn't tell me to shut up.
I did. I said something.
You said you're not a streamer.
Okay, and that's what offended
That's
you?
not what you told me over the
That's
prison
what you
phone.
offended
You
you?
told me you was
That's
just,
what offended
I'm about to get this money. I'm a
That's what
streamer
offended
now.
you?
What the
That's
fuck?
offended you?
You with other niggas, you a
That's
streamer?
offended you?
Now you with me,
That's
you not a
offended
streamer?
you? That's offended
You with Trey Songz, you the #1 streamer. Now you with me, you don't want to stream?
Why are you doing
All right.
that?
All right.
Why are you on that?
Why
are you on that?
You're doing this to yourself,
No,
man.
I'm not doing nothing to myself.
Get with the, like,
Look,
correlate.
check this out. It's not correlate.
I'm running from you.
You can run.
Don't chase me, cuz. Get her, #1. I don't want no problem with holy hands. Good crib. Chat know what I'm talking about. You not finna manipulate me. I seen you with them other niggas when they want to stream. Good crib. I'm gonna play with my money, feel me? Good crib. I'm not one of them. Get on me. Prison cell.
Holy hands is crazy. I'm gonna be honest. I had to stifle a guffaw the first time I heard him call her holy hands. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And yeah, I believe the baby was in the car because there was another clip I couldn't find when I was trying to compile the clips for the thing where she actually got out the car and I feel like she had the baby in her arms. And so yeah, the baby was in the car with them. And it's one more of this exchange that I got going on here.
You. I don't know where it went left. The reason why I got out the camera because I didn't want to be a weirdo in your stream. You know, like I don't want to be quick. Like you know, like
why would you do that? We've been streaming all day. Why would you do that?
What, baby?
Why would you be a weirdo on my stream if we've been streaming all day?
I said because you yelled at me, so I thought like I
Yelled at you for what?
Huh?
Yelled at you for what?
Can you hear me?
I'm asking you. Why did I yell at you?
I don't really know. That's why I was trying to ask you. Like, I was trying to talk to you. I really was trying to talk to you. I wasn't trying to, like, brush you off or nothing. I just didn't want to, like, do none of that in front of the stream. I had a good day. I love you. I enjoyed the small moments with baby Krishan and you. Like, that was priceless. What else? You look so handsome today. I like your haircut. Everything was perfect. I apologize if I triggered any type of, like, you know, like I don't want no beef with you at all.
Okay.
I don't have no ill intent towards you. I don't know where it went left. The reason why I got out the camera because I didn't want to be a weirdo in your stream. You know, like I don't want to. Like, I don't have no, like, you know, like,
why would you do that? We've been streaming all day. Why would you do that?
What, baby?
Why would you be a weirdo on my stream if we've been streaming all day?
I said, because you yelled at me, so I thought, like,
Yelled at you for what?
Huh?
Yelled at you for what?
Can you hear me?
I'm asking you. Why did I yell at you?
I don't really know. That's why I was trying to ask you. Like, I was trying to talk to you. I really was trying to talk to you. I wasn't trying to, like, brush you off or nothing. I just didn't want to, like, do none of that in front of the stream. I had a good day. I love you. I enjoyed the small moments with baby Krishan and you. Like, that was priceless. What else? You look so handsome today. I like your haircut. Everything was perfect. I apologize if I triggered any type of, I don't want no beef with you at all.
Okay.
I didn't like.
So just to recap, Nevaeh is in the situation she's in with him. Blueface has convinced her to participate while he's going to um, throw her a baby shower because she's never had a baby shower, and this is something he's doing that's different than he's done for any of his other baby moms, and that makes it special and all this other stuff. But also remember, he's a streamer. All of this stuff is for streaming purposes. Mind you, there was a point in time where he was out and Nevaeh was like texting him. He was out with Krishan. Nevaeh was texting him and stuff, and he said, I think it was around the time he got mad at Krishan and he went somewhere and Nevaeh was not with him in the room or something. I don't know if he was at home or not, but he basically is texting Nevaeh and he's like, or not even texting her. He was on the stream and he was like, I know you watching. Go in the stream room and get online. And she's like busting down the door because the chair's in front of the door for some kind of reason to get in and do what he said to do to get on. But mind you, she's upset because he was with Krishan. Now, you saw the footage of him being with Krishan and the way they're hugged up and the way they are being so intimate and loving and affectionate and everything like that. Krishan has talked about like what went wrong between them from her perspective. And she's basically saying like, look, when he's online, after a while, he starts trying to perform Blueface as opposed to being Jonathan with her the way she is now accustomed to him being. And she's saying that like she doesn't want to do that all the time. She wants to enjoy those nice moments that they have when he's just loving on her and being loving and affectionate and present with her and the baby. And he's like, look, of course, for the performance. Again, I'm not going to get into whether or not I think it's real or not, what aspects of his personality I think are real or not, whether or not I will theorize on, the parts that I feel like the ways he sees them a little bit differently, but not right this second. But anyway, he's basically saying, look, whatever we do together needs to be on camera because that's my bread and butter and that's my priority. So if you want to be down with me, because he had spent all this money on her that day too. That's the thing. He also was mad because while he was hanging with Krishan, it didn't just come with affection. It came with a shopping spree. He took her to the mall. I believe he took what's her face to the mall too, but he had them in separate places. And then eventually he left Nevaeh to be with Krishan outright. But he said like $10,000 on Krishan that day. So he felt like she owed him by streaming with him. And she was just like, look, I'm not feeling the streaming at this point anymore. I'm getting tired of it. And then he started talking about doing a 24-hour stream, and that ticked her off because she was like, I told you I didn't want to be doing this the whole time. Like, I want some intimate moments. I want us to be able to be with just us without having to worry about you performing or looking for me to perform for the camera. And then she started feeling like he was trying to provoke her again for the benefit of the people watching. And she's like, I don't do that no more. I'm not into that. I don't want to do it. Now, she was fighting some other people like, listen, but that doesn't matter. She said she don't want to do it. She don't want to do it. Now, what was interesting to me, though, is, again, in juxtaposition to the way Nevaeh seems to react when he's testing her boundaries and trying to subvert her boundaries or whatever. Krishan is just outright like, I said no. When Blueface will say something that kind of tiptoes on Nevaeh's dignity or her boundaries or whatever, she'll just kind of go, oh, you know what I mean? Or she'll try to make an argument about something it's not about. Krishan outright is like, look, I said no to this. I'm not doing this. And that went on for a long time. Production inquiry said, I think he's triggered by her notoriety. I think it's more so he's triggered by her sense of self, because also he keeps trying to like calling her holy hands and stuff. He was talking, shit about her, wanting him to take her to church and all this other things. The thing is, though, she is a bit more rooted in her faith than I think he likes. The faith gives her something else outside of him to anchor in. Because the thing with Nevaeh doesn't have anything outside of him to anchor in. She doesn't have no family. Like I said, when he asked her what else she got going for her, what else, does she want esteem as a purpose or an interest or anything, she really don't have too much to say. Whereas Krishan, not only does she have her faith, she also is a boxer. She also has other things that she's actively doing that have nothing to do with him, that she kind of leans back on when he starts being a little iffy. When it gets to a point where she feels like she has to compromise some or any of that stuff, she'll go, no, I'm not doing that. And that's the part I think he has a problem with. He said it's about the money. He's going viral and the craziness sells. Yeah. And that's something that but like I said, the part that I'm kind of like, I don't know about is how affectionate he is with Krishan. That doesn't seem fake to me. And the problem is that I have with dudes that like to play these types of games is, as human beings, I feel like we all want intimacy. We all like those moments when it's just chill and we're vibing with somebody and it feels loving on people feels good. Loving on someone feels good. Not just getting love from somebody, but loving on people feels good. And so in that sense, I feel like it seems genuine that he is also enjoying those moments as well. But the problem is that he is constantly, it comes at a cost. And he's basically like, look, I'm not just doing that for the love of the game. That in and of itself is not enough for me. I need you to give me deference when it comes to utilizing your likeness, our relationship, how we're relating to each other moment to moment for my content. And so that's where Krishan is drawing a hard line and saying, look, when I don't want to do it anymore, I'm not doing it. I don't mind when it's nice and the camera just happens to be there, but I'm not fighting with you online, and you're not going to make a spectacle out of me. And that is where, again, like I said, neither one of them are where I would want someone to be in that type of situation. But when it comes to Krishan, like I said, she seems to have a more developed sense of self and more things going on for her outside of him that he does not dictate in the way that he's used to, in the way that he wants to. And so she's a little bit farther along on that path of self-actualization. And I think my point is, I think that should be noted. And a lot of times, like when we have conversations online, there's these binaries where the person is either completely healed or they're a fucking wreck and they need to be judged and shamed. They're either a victim or a hero or they're a villain. There's no in between. And I feel like when it comes to watching this, if I'm using it as a case study, which I kind of am, that while Krishan is not where I would want her to be and where I feel like she belongs, she has definitely grown and she is definitely demonstrating some of those things that I talk about here on this platform in terms of in real time. You're able to see the difference when you start implementing some of that stuff about being self-governed and self-centered. Again, can it use some more work? Because she put a little more zhuzh in, a little more razzle dazzle? Absolutely. But in juxtaposition to Nevaeh, who was just completely at, negative 72 in terms of the process, you can see the difference. And that speaks to the value in doing that kind of work on oneself, I think. Let me see. We did that. I think we made it through all of the oh no. So now we're at the baby shower recap. So remember, this is the weekend of the baby shower. This is like the day before or the night before the baby shower or the night before the baby shower. So now we're going to watch a recap of the stuff that was like, I think the day of the baby shower is what this is.
But yeah, y'all favorite's not here right now. He's probably somewhere with the next bitch. Who gives a fuck? Bitch doing here? On my day though, bitch? Are you for real? Right now.
What the fuck are you doing? I'm chilling. Fuck you mean? What the fuck are you doing? Getting away this money. That's the fastest way out here. You should be lucky I came here for a job. You're losing the plot.
You should be lucky.
You never even had a baby child. It's your second child. You're losing the plot.
I'm already pulling up. I got the address. I'm already pulling up. I'm pulling up. I'm on my way. Sorry, I had to hang up.
Ain't nobody doing this shit. We're having a good time.
Having a great time, Jack. Diddy, what's up, bro? We touring or what?
Diddy, don't be playing, Diddy.
This the last chance, bro. We locking in dates, we locking in contracts, brother. We need you to be more responsive.
Meet us in Calabasas.
Yeah, come on. We been walking through the United States, DDG. I hate to think that when I went to prison, you got Hollywood and shot.
Nah, TV.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Why? What you gonna fight? You gonna go fight her? Exactly. So you worried about the wrong shit. Keep doing you.
I give up. Take him. Run out with him. Run out. Run up to the sunset with the kid.
Sorry. So I was saying we are now up to speed. Well, we are kind of up to speed. We're not up to speed because Nevaeh had the baby. Nevaeh had the baby yesterday. I want to say early yesterday morning or late last night. I believe it was early yesterday morning because I think they said August 18th. She had the baby. Blueface was with her. Now they're using that as a slight against Krishan, not necessarily him, but like people online are using that as a slight against Krishan because apparently he was not with Krishan when Krishan had her son. And I keep saying her son too because people are still saying that Krishan's baby is not Blueface's baby. I believe Krishan's baby is Blueface's baby, but I think there is a part where Blueface doesn't believe. I haven't seen him refer to Krishan's baby as his baby. I have not. Oh no, I got some stuff on him. I have not seen him refer to Krishan's baby as his own baby, so I don't know. But I do think, for the record, that his baby is Krishan's baby. She was doing a whole lot of fighting and I don't know. Anyway, but yes, she had the baby. As far as I know, he has been with her and the baby. His Blueface's father came to see the baby. They were comparing pictures of his baby pictures and the baby and all types of stuff or whatever. He seems to believe at this point that I interpreted what he was doing and saying as him accepting that this baby was his, because in some cases I did see him saying that he didn't believe the baby was his, but I also saw one of their associates was there and was saying that Nevaeh is totally fine with doing a paternity test, so they'll be doing that assumably soon. But yeah, so we're at a point now where what is my point in all this? What do I see here? So I mentioned before about the conversations that are being had online around women's agency, specifically around putting women in a position. I'm saying women. One of the conversations could be women or men. They're just talking about avoidant people versus anxiously attached people. But it's this conversation around stemming from the voice note situation. And it's a conversation around what is owed to people when they're trying to interact romantically, but they want monogamy, and not everybody wants monogamy. Some people just want to have casual sex, and that should be okay, and they shouldn't be vilified for just wanting casual sex. But my whole point, when seeing that argument and seeing this footage and stuff like that, it's all there. At the end of the day, we don't have these experiences in a vacuum the same way that these conversations are being had. You can make a hypothetical very neat and tidy to where, okay, it's just this or it's just that. But the real world experience and lived experience, the experience I've lived, the experience a lot of women had lived, and the experience a lot of women are trying to protect themselves against, to my point earlier about what you should be able to expect when dealing with people, is this type of loosey goosey in between stuff. Because the thing that people don't account for in these conversations is that idea of a bond of some kind. Of a bond of some kind. Get the book. People don't account for the idea that for whatever reason, this particular person means something to them. That this particular person is that they built some kind of a relationship, and also that that person, while they may be being honest about who they are and who they're not and who they want to be and what they're willing to do and this and that and the other, I'm talking about the non-monogamous person, while they're being honest about that stuff, also their recognition of what your vulnerable areas are, like him talking about, oh, you don't have nobody and I'm the only one that did this, that, and the other for you, blah, 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 blah. You're a single mother now. That's something else I talk about in the book, about that stigma that lives inside you sometimes once you have a kid, of realizing where you didn't realize before, oh, people are looking at me a certain way. Oh, people are going to penalize me a certain way because I've had a child or I've had multiple children with multiple fathers, all of those things that are used against you to say, okay, now what you deserve has been diminished. Everybody's ready to factor that in when something is going wrong, but nobody's willing to examine how much did this person that they're interacting with know about that person's triggers, and how is that person actually leaning on those triggers, how is that person leaning on those vulnerabilities, how is that person leaning on those insecurities, how is that person implanting those types of insecurities and building a stronghold to those insecurities to be able to push that button whenever that person steps out of line. It's always this assumption that the person is just simply not moving on. And I told a story in my book about, because let's talk about the epidemic of that crack rock. So I wrote a part of my book where I told a story. Sorry, my nose felt itchy. That my daughter's father came to me. And in fact, I might as well just read it. Why not? Why not? Hold on. I'm trying to find it. That's not. Where the heck is the story? I know it's in the beginning. Sorry, y'all. Okay, here it is. I found it. Sorry. Strap in for this bullshit. Okay. Okay. When my oldest daughter had just turned 2 years old, her father came and knocked on my grandmother's door. It was a few weeks after her birthday. I believe mine had passed as well, and I'm glad because it would have been ruined if it hadn't. I brought our daughter outside to sit with him, and I sat outside as well. I told myself this was because of her being so young and all, but that was a common excuse we single mothers use that I will explain later. Even though he had missed her birthday and hadn't seen her in months, he was especially focused on me, or more specifically, my apathetic attitude towards him. At that point, I was reading the writing on the wall and had come to accept that he just wasn't interested in being her father in practice. He apologized for having missed her birthday and was profusely campaigning to thaw my cold attitude towards him. I was generally uninterested in his appeals. He had been consistently inconsistent her entire life up to that point, and I was emotionally drained and numb. He had recently moved back to our city and requested that I bring our daughter to visit him at his new apartment that upcoming weekend, so that he could make it up to the both of us. These were his words. As far as I was concerned, he and I had no relationship and I wasn't interested in one. But I desperately wanted for my daughter the experience of a biological father that I never got. I wanted her to know what it was like to be adored and coveted by her father. Even though I was skeptical about whether or not he would follow through beyond that day, it still felt good to have his attention on us for once. That day came, and I made sure that she and I looked pretty. We took the long bus ride across town to his apartment. It was an attic apartment in a charming cottage like house tucked away from the street, back behind lots of deep green bushes with waxy leaves. It was surprisingly spacious with one large bedroom and a reasonably sized living room, a tiny little kitchen tucked off to the side, and a small but functional bathroom done in all white with an old fashioned clawfoot porcelain tub. It was really cute. We all settled in and sat on his bed. He put on movies and cartoons for the baby. At this point, it was so long ago I couldn't tell you specifically what all we talked about, but I know that eventually I began to relax and we were having a good time. Back when I first had the baby, I suggested he go to a massage therapy school because he already had a knack for it and I thought that he could make a lot of money. He had taken my advice, but while he was attending, he wound up meeting the woman who would become his third baby's mother. I was the second. He asked me to come into the living room so that he could show me his massage table. I knew what it was, but I was low key geeked about it. Needless to say, we had sex. At that point in my life, I genuinely believed people could be taken at their word, that he could, despite all my prior experience to the contrary. It didn't make sense to me that he would go through all of this trouble coming all the way to my grandmother's house to convince me to bring our daughter up there just to have a quick roll in the hay. Unfortunately for me, that was exactly what he had done. Once we finished, we joined our daughter in the bedroom, sitting on the bed watching television. This part of the conversation I remember almost verbatim. I was riding high on the afterglow of our activities in the rush of rekindled love. I turned to him cheerfully and I asked him, "So, how are we going to do this?" He looked at me with the same puzzled look I would see so many times on our daughter's face. "What do you mean?" He said, "How are we going to do this?" I repeated. "Am I going to move in here? Or are we going to work at getting a new place that's bigger?" The confusion on his face expanded. He drew his neck back, his eyes narrowed, and his lips puckered. "Kiana, I'm in love with Tish." Tish is a name I made up for the person he met at massage therapy school. For reasons I'll never understand, he went on to explain that she had been pregnant but got an abortion, as if that somehow clarified for me what he had done and why he had done it. I never felt an emotional pain like that. And I've got to be honest, even talking about it still brings tears to my eyes. Then, not now, when I wrote the book. That experience for me was more than just a case of unrequited love. A big part of my innocence left me that day. Like I said, there are certain things that until that moment, it never even occurred to me that any person would do. I asked him what he meant. He repeated himself, but it made no more sense to me then as it did the first time it came out of his mouth. I asked him why he had bothered to do all of this. Why come to my grandmother's house and campaign so heavily to get me up here if he was in love with another woman? His answer to this question was much simpler and clearer than the other. Because I like having sex with you. The term rude awakening doesn't quite fit the severity of the impact that moment had on my psyche. Something broke in me. Although I felt like the wind had been knocked out of me, I willed myself enough strength not to let him see me cry. I picked up my baby's diaper bag and left there with as much dignity as I could scrape from the bottom of my soul. That long bus ride home wasn't nearly long enough. My body felt weak and limp, but somehow I still managed to make it home. I can't remember what else I did the rest of the day. All I remember is that at that evening, after preparing the baby for bed, laying down beside her in the dark, the pain swelling in the pit of my stomach and rising up through my chest, out of my mouth. I thought I did my best to stifle my sobs so as not to wake her, but I don't think she was even asleep to begin with. This is where I'm talking about being able to relate to seeing the baby comfort her, comfort Nevaeh. Um, my body was heaving with grief and devastation. Then I felt a small, soft hand on my shoulder. In the dark, my 2-year-old baby turned me gently to her, reached out, wrapped her little arms around my neck, and held me to her chest. She made not one sound. This act of pure love and nurturing, so far beyond her years, eroded what little pride and restraint I had left. She just held me there in the dark while I cried and cried, for all I felt was lost to me that day. When I was all but delirious from both the events of the day and the sharp throbbing headache I get whenever I cry like that, I regained my composure and took back the reins of motherhood from my toddler. I scooped her into my arms and kissed her all over her face. Words couldn't express how proud, awed, grateful, and humbled I felt towards her in that moment. That day, I experienced both the greatest pain and the greatest love I've ever experienced in my life. So I know this stuff well, is my point. Like, I know being in a situation where you done fucked up, you done had a baby with somebody that's not a great stand-up person, somebody you can rely on, somebody that may or may not be actively trying to hurt your feelings, hold you back, keep you from walking in your purpose, whatever you want to call it. And being in a position where it's like affecting how you're parenting. Now, again, I can say that my baby, he wasn't cussing me, he knew he couldn't do that. He wasn't cussing me or hitting me or nothing, but putting me in a position where you're hurting my feelings, where I'm going on these ups and downs and all this stuff is going on. And I still have to be a parent. I still have to make decisions for me and my kid. I still have to figure out what's coming up next. I still have to figure out like what I'm going to be doing down the line in the next couple years. I have to make plans. I have to live for the moment, but also for the future as well. That takes a lot of bandwidth. And when you're dealing with somebody who knows that you want something, because this is the thing. When I read, well, I wasn't reading it. This is when I was hanging out with Themis. And the first time he brought me up to talk about it, he read that part of my book. And I remember the reactions that were coming in because he was reading it. I wasn't reading it. So I was reading the chat as he was reading that passage in the book. And initially, people were doing the same thing that they do when we're looking at Krishan and all that stuff. They're going, oh, you knew what it was and you should have known, and why would he do this, and why would you think that, and and all this other stuff. They had every reason in the world why I had done this thing to myself. Then as the story went on and I was able to give more context, for one, they were like, well, how old was he? I'm like, we're like the same age. He's not, like, I was born in August of the year after he was born in October. So he was born in October and I was born in next August. We're the same age. You know what I mean? People were realizing that I was fairly young. I was like 21 at the time. They were thinking I was older. You know what I mean? But there's always a reason, is what I'm saying, for people not to have compassion. Where I'm reading to you, I wasn't in a headspace where I was chasing him. I wasn't in a headspace where I was looking for anything from him. He came to me. And so what I'm saying is that, yes, Nevaeh is still in his house. Krishan is still dealing with him. All these things are actively happening right now. And it seems like, yes, the easy thing to do would be just stop dealing with him. But both of these women right now at this point have children with these men. And when we have these kind of conversations about, oh, you just walk away, that doesn't factor in. I know not everybody has kids with people that don't want to let go of people, but you don't know what that person was talking about with them. You don't know how that person was pillow talking. You don't know what that person may have said to them the first day they met them in conversation, because that's another thing that we kind of talk about on here, is the different ways that women don't know men will prey on you and use stuff. Do you know that there's certain things that you can't say on a first date with them, and they say don't tell them your trauma, don't tell them what you've been through, and this, that, and the other. Why? Because there's a likelihood that that man will say, oh, this is what you let another man do to you, so this is at least what I can do to you. As opposed to, oh, I'm just talking to somebody and we're just sharing stories, and you know, that was my mindset growing up. Oh, we talk to people. Oh, we have this in common. Oh yeah, this happened to you. Oh, I see you was just arguing with your mom. Yeah, my mom did. That's just kind of how, to me, that's a part of interacting with people. But in this world, in this context, when you do that, you've now betrayed yourself. You've now positioned yourself for that person to take advantage. But if that person takes advantage, if that person uses that information, for instance, when you are trying to pull away, to say, oh, wait a minute, no, we have this bond. I know you this well. Other people don't know you that well. You're never going to get something as deep as with me. You're never going to be treated as well as I've treated you. Something to come in to make you go, this person might be right. My best bet might be to just stick it out with this person and try to work on our issues. Nobody accounts for that in these conversations. Nobody accounts for the math that women have to do in terms of what are these outcomes going to be. Misty said, what I saw Blueface do before that baby shower was disturbing. It was just horrible. Yeah, it was like, it was clear to me after a while, because I saw the clips where he kept saying, oh, I'm throwing you this baby shower. You never had a baby shower. I'm like, okay, that's nice. But then after a while, it became apparent to me that, oh, he's just throwing this. It was kind of like he was using that baby shower as a high so that he could create all these other lows to fuck with her. Basically, it's like, okay, now you know the baby shower is coming, but now you don't know if I'm going to be there. Now you don't know if I'm going to be with Krishan. Now you don't know if Krishan's going to show up to the baby shower. Because think about it, if the baby shower wasn't happening, there wouldn't have been all that other drama and intrigue for the show. And so that's so fucking cruel. But at the same time, I'm looking at her like, you don't see how you're being utilized. The same way he's talking with Krishan about, oh, you won't let me stream with you. It's basically like, this is the price you pay. You want to be in proximity to me. If you want to try to experience being in a relationship with me, then you're going to have to pay your pound of flesh by being the spectacle that everybody gets to watch. And I'm putting the link down here in case anybody wants to come up again. You don't have to, but I put that down there. In fact, let me go and let me lock it up here. Oh, pin it. That's what I'm trying to say. Let me pin it. Okay, there. That's the price that they pay for experiencing that love, experiencing that intimacy, experiencing whatever. Now, unfortunately, though, like I said, there is a clear line of demarcation between the level that he'll do with Krishan and the level that he does with Neve. And it may have something to do with the idea that, oh, Krishan only has the one child and the child is possibly his. Again, I don't know whether or not he accepts paternity or believes that that child is his now or not. But he's very stringent about these rules about, oh, this person only has one baby father or one child, and this person has this, and this person, has this going on, and this person doesn't. He very much so is clear about the hierarchies that are going on. And so it's really sickening and sad to see. But again, conversation online and real life, real world experience outside of this, because this, honestly though, I want to say this is an extreme, and it's not. It's not an extreme. I remember many years ago, right on the corner of this block, a fight breaking out and one of my friends' friends busting out the window to the house on the corner because the girl inside had a baby with her baby father and the baby father is outside. Like, yeah, I love y'all fighting over me. Just dumb shit, debauchery. You know what I mean? This type of, and she did wind up marrying that man, but apparently that man hates her guts and they have like 10 children. It's crazy. But anyway, this stuff happens all the time. And so for me, like I said earlier in the live stream, originally when I started this platform, in my mind, these were the women I would be talking to. The Krishas, the Nevaehs, you know, like the ones that are actively in the throes of trying to find some kind of peace and pleasure and stability in life. But at some point you do kind of have to question, how do you actually want the stability? Because especially in the case of Krishan, it's like you've been tasting stability. You've been able to establish something outside of this man. What is it? But people underestimate the bond. People underestimate the bond, and people underestimate the fact that, like I said, people may say, "Oh, you just met this person or whatever." The bond is not about what's actually tangible. The bond is about what connection means to you. The bond is about how you think of yourself in relation to this connection you have with this person. The bond gives not only the relationship meaning, it gives you meaning. It gives you value, because if this person loves you, then now you have value. If this person values this time, if this person is leaning on this idea that you should value this time you've spent together, then that means in your mind you're automatically going to assume that they value this time you spent together, and that means you in turn are valuable. That's important to people. And I hate the way that that gets overlooked and under examined in these conversations, and for the express purpose of absolving, because again, it's always a binary. There has to be a hero and there has to be a villain. The purpose is to absolve this other person who isn't necessarily dealing in good faith just because they were honest of any kind of wrongdoing. We have so many examples of how this shit works. So, in closing, I just wanted to highlight a couple things. Those things being, I think it's bullshit the way this conversation is being held online. It's not taking into account the complexities of these types of relationships, and also the tendencies of those type of non-committal people, or that type of an honest person. We're talking about Blueface, CVJ, that type of honesty, how it gets weaponized to fuck people over. And I also wanted to highlight the way that I see Krishan on the path to self-actualization. And I definitely see examples of her being anchored in something other than Blueface, not necessarily male-centered, but she is definitely buying into the fact that they have a specific bond. So I don't think, what I'm saying is, I don't think that this is about a man as much as this is about Blueface specifically for her, because of her belief in what he represents to her in her life. For Nevaeh, I feel more comfortable in not more comfortable, but I feel more comfortable in saying that I think hers is a male centeredness generally, only because I don't see her making anything else happen for herself in this situation. Even her own self-conception is mainly around her proximity to these men that she has been in relationship, been intimate with. Run and Tell says a lot of men show and know that they are garbage people. The women are the ones giving the benefit of the doubt. I don't think men like him even respect women that give them attention. He doesn't. But the thing is, women giving the benefit of the doubt, I'm so glad you used that specific phrase, because that's something that's very important. When you as someone who vehemently decries to women, fuck these niggas. Leave these niggas alone. Don't when I say fuck these niggas, like fuck them, get them out of here. Don't worry about them. Do away with them. Ignore them. Be gone with them. I also recognize that desire to relate to a man in the way that only heterosexual women can. Well, not only, but you get what I'm saying, like to experience that heterosexual experience of being with a man as a woman is something unique in terms of all the other kinds of relationships one can have with another person. It is unique to the relationship you have with a friend. It is unique to the relationship that you have with a child, a parent, a mentor. You get what I'm saying? So, in understanding that uniqueness, I understand that for some people, other things are just not going to hit the spot the same way that kind of relationship will. But that being said, it's sinister to me how many ways women are penalized, scrutinized, vilified, and shamed for giving people the benefit of the doubt, because that type of relationship requires that. And I don't give a fuck what any of these people, these casual sex warriors are saying. It's weird to feel like you should be having sex under conditions where you also cannot give the benefit of the doubt. Because that's what I'm hearing when people are having these conversations, and they're dragging people for wanting to be able to feel safe and stable in relationships that they want to have sex in, or they're choosing to have sex in. You're basically saying you're the weird one for expecting that. That's the part where I'm like, turn it the fuck on. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I should have such low expectations for people that I would let penetrate me. What are you talking about? And then you may get into a conversation where they're saying that's not what we're saying. And, like having sex with someone doesn't mean you have to have a baby with them, right? No. In this day and age, having sex with someone doesn't mean you have to get married with them. Having sex with someone doesn't even necessarily mean that you have to be in a committed relationship with someone, right? But the thing is, where is the line that is drawn when we're talking about what expectations are you supposed to have of people? Because when we say, I expect you to not try to browbeat me into having sex with you that I've already expressed I'm uncomfortable with having with you at this juncture in us knowing each other. Oh, you're being a prude and you're wasting his time actually, and he should be able to have. There's something, it's not just we're miscommunicating. There's something very specific happening around this idea of what we think we're owed when we're having sex with each other, or when we want to have sex with each other. There's a very specific idea here. There's something weird in the conversation around, and it's becoming, if you have any kind of expectations of someone handling you with care when it comes to you being sexually available to them, you're the weirdo. Now, I'm saying this again as someone who clocked that pretty early on. I was mostly thinking it was from the men's perspective, but apparently there are women that believe this too. I was someone that said, this is what you're expecting of me as men? I'm good, I'm out. And I did that years ago. Was it a decade? It might have been, it was over a decade, and then I dated one person, and then, but since at the last time since 2020 was the last time that I dated someone or had sex with someone. So for me, it's more of a thing of, oh, well, if this is the expectation, I'm not going to deal with it. But it wasn't, like I said, a conversation that was being had in a broader sense. So that's kind of where, yeah, not when they show you they have zero care for you as a person. Yeah, and it's just like it's been rubbing me the wrong way for a while now, because it's been the conversation has been slowly being uncovered, like something buried in sand at low tide. It's slowly been becoming more and more clear to me as all these different subject matters have been being discussed online. But yeah, and I feel like it's all connected. When you talk about, oh, people should be able to just do this, that, and the other, that's the same logic that is applied in these situations where, like I said, it's clear we saw this man using these tactics to like keep people in, and it's like this assumption that that can't happen in a dating scenario, like you just met somebody, dating type scenario. And we even read an article, um we read that article from Emily Ratajkowski, and she was describing things. Mind you, her stance was she was never trying to fall in love from the first place, which is great. But the things that she heard that man saying and doing, she was explaining how he was wanting her to get more intimate with him and feel connected with him, pair bond with him in certain type of ways, right? But she was also explaining how he had demonstrated and shown that he wasn't necessarily safe in that respect. But that is the expectation, I feel like, for women specifically, is that you're supposed to be available for men to feel like, oh, they're having that girlfriend experience, they're having your whole heart and soul. I even experienced it with my baby father before. There would be plenty of times where I would go, you know what, I want to have sex, and I want to have sex with him specifically because he does this thing I like, or what, whatever it was. I'm like, I'm going to have sex with him. Do you want to have sex with me? We'll just have sex, nothing else. And then when I'm acting in a way when my demeanor is that of a woman who's just having sex is not the same as the sex the person has with somebody that they're either thinking they can connect with, trying to connect with, or already feeling connected with. And people know that. So when we're having these conversations, like I said, in a vacuum where people are trying to act like, oh, there's nothing different, sex is just sex and it's not that big of a deal and this and that and the other, I've lived it. There's a lot of nuance there. And these niggas be knowing. They know what they're doing. And that's a hill I will die on. My confusion is when the men show their true selves and the women are like, maybe I'm special, or maybe he doesn't mean it, or maybe he had a bad day. This is the thing, run and tell. And I don't know if you've ever been in not even in a romantic relationship, right? Friendship. If your friend does something weird, she's mean to you, she barks at you or yells at you, or just quiet, doesn't call you right back, something like that, what are you going to do? Are you automatically going to go to this place where you're like, you know what, fuck that bitch? Or are you going to be like, well, from what I know about this person, she's working, she has been saying that work has been whatever. You're going to, because of the relationship and because you want to keep that person in high esteem in your mind, you're not going to jump to the worst case scenario. You're going to say, oh, maybe this happened or that happened, and rationalize it so that you can forgive. Why? Because you want to maintain the connection. And so what I'm saying is, for people who want to maintain connections, that is the natural thing to do, is give the benefit of the doubt. But then we'll sit here and wonder why we have fucking loneliness epidemics and all this stuff going on, and the world is less connected than ever while being the most connected than ever. This is the mechanics of that shit, because you're asking people to act in ways that are weird and relate in ways that are weird. And again, this is not me saying that everybody needs to be paired up in these nice, neat little couples, and nobody should ever have casual sex, or nobody should ever feel free to explore, ethically. But what I'm saying is, a lot of games are played around knowing that people want connection. Some people want connection and want to connect and want to pair bond or whatever. And the different damage and drama and trauma that people have around connection, and there's kind of this nothing's off the table when it comes to getting sexual contact with people, even if you know that they want a deeper connection than you want to give, and playing games around it. She said, I was a whole wife who filed for divorce. So yes, I'm saying at one point you were married and there were things that you compromises you had to make when your husband was doing whatever, that you were kind of like, you know what, this is bothering me, but for the good of the relationship, to keep the relationship going, I'm going to look at it in this light. I'm going to give him a certain amount of grace. I'm not going to assume the worst of him. I'm not going to think of him in a way that would make it imperative for me to get away from him because he is my husband and the intention is to stay with him. You get what I'm saying? And that works when you're in a relationship. That works when you're dating someone, if you like them a lot. You get what I'm saying? Like the act and the art of connecting with people and maintaining connections requires goodwill. So why are we scrutinizing and shaming people for wanting and expecting to be safe in giving goodwill to people? And furthermore, why are we shaming and scrutinizing people for being averse to giving goodwill to people who are positioning themselves to put them in a position where their choices are going to be scrutinized? Because at the end of the day, specifically when it comes to women too, at the end of the day, when shit goes wrong with the woman, and this is why I did not appreciate that whole, oh, you need to date you need to examine your feelings about dating bisexual men conversation, because at the end of the day, we don't live in a vacuum. Whenever a woman makes a choice to deal with a man and shit goes left, what do they say? You should have chose better. You should have seen that coming. The same thing. Oh, you see what's happening. You see what's going on. Why didn't you leave? Why? There's always a bunch of questions for the woman in hindsight when shit goes wrong. So if a woman says for whatever reason, I don't give a fuck if it's rooted in biphobia or any kind of phobia. If a woman says for whatever reason, you know what? I'm going to exclude this particular man. Leave her the fuck alone. You know why? Because if she changes her mind for whatever reason, even if you think it's a righteous one, and shit goes left, nobody is going to give her points for having changed her mind. You're going to say, oh, well, you should have known better. You should have stuck with your first. Nobody has ever in the history of anything said, oh, well, you know, that was nice of you to give that guy a shot, even though you were looking at him a little funny. No, they're going to say, oh, you was a stupid bitch. They're going to say you were a bird. They're going to say you were male-centered. They're going to say you didn't have enough self-esteem. They're going to say, oh, you were desperate for a man. Women don't get points for giving the benefit of the doubt. Women are made to look stupid for giving the benefit of the doubt. When in reality, like I said, to have relationships, the benefit of the doubt is a foundational thing. To having healthy relationships, it's a foundational thing. So I say judge books by the cover. A cover will tell you a lot. She said, no, once he showed me his true colors, I did. She said, I didn't give grace. That's good. A line between goodwill and ignorance isn't that thin. Thank you, Wake Up. She said, when you're honest with yourself, you realize the doubt you had becomes the reason you leave. Whose fault would what be? The doubt you had becomes the reason you leave. This is not me saying that people should stay, but this is me saying that as someone who, like I said, recognizes the amount of risk I perceive in being that way, along with, because it's layers. So there's the risk that I'm actually taking. There's the way it's viewed and treated in society if and when things go wrong. There should a whole lot on those raggedy covers. There is the fact that a lot of people have normalized behaving in bad faith to all different degrees, and that's something else too. Like I said, it's not everybody's not operating at that extreme, but there's something about questioning. And I wrote, oh yeah, guys, I have Substack now. I wrote a Substack about this subject. It was my first one. It's really cool. I like it. But we're talking about really asking ourselves outside of this idea of, okay, well, this situation looks bad from our vantage point, so this person should just leave, but not taking into account what their actual experience is of the situation. Yeah, it just looks like, oh, he's treating you bad. He's treating, specifically Blueface, is treating Nevaeh bad. Yes, but he's also leaning heavily on and continuously reaffirming within her a lot of the stuff that I talk about in this book, those doubts around what is my life going to look like if I'm a single woman out here with these kids that I have now. What is it going to look like? What am I opening myself up to? I'm opening myself up to exploitation from other men that could be coming to harm me and or my kids. I'm opening myself up to judgment. I'm opening myself up to lesser treatment because now I do have 2 kids and 2 baby fathers and I don't look the same, and I've been online letting everybody see you drag me, and now I'm extra vulnerable. This feels safer than the unknown and or the work I'll have to do to redeem myself in the eyes of society and or in my own brain. This feels safer than that. This is the devil I know. You know, also with her, she don't have no prospects. She don't seem inclined to be an intellectual, go to school for nothing. She don't want to be a CNA or nothing. You know what I mean? I heard him say something about, she said she want to sing. I ain't heard no musical notes come out of her. You get what I'm like? It's one of those things where self-development is so important, but for people who didn't grow up around fully developed people, how do you even know how to self-develop, let alone if you're self-developed or that you're not self-developed? Like there's so many other things that go into these situations other than just that person's self-esteem is not high enough. Because you're talking about self-esteem, bitch. How the fuck am I going to eat? Where am I going to live? How am I going to make income? What is the rest of my life going to look like? Now, I will say again, I do feel like for Nevaeh specifically, what you thought was outside your window? I do feel like specifically for Nevaeh, part of her fear is no other man will want me. I will be alone for the rest of my life. I won't have a romantic or sex. I won't have a romantic companion because Blueface keeps emphasizing that people will have sex with her, but nobody will take her seriously. I do feel like that is something that she's worried about. I remember reading a book about Ruth Bader Ginsburg where she says that for marriage to work, sometimes you have to be a little. Yes, we see it all the time. That's what I'm saying. And for those people who still value even to me, not just marriage, being in a relationship. Remember, I used to talk all the time when we'd be watching different stuff and we'd be watching specifically like watching FD and them. And I was saying, God bless what's that girl name? Olu Renati. Because I'm like, do you see the way that she is actively having to bite her tongue? Do you see the way that she's actively having to swallow that anger and annoyance that she's feeling at the dumb shit that nigga just said? You get what I'm like? Being, to me, not just being in relationship, just being around men generally a lot of the time, if they're not specific men, because there are some men that are okay to be around, but in general, if you're just in around niggas, you're going to have to go, do I feel like fighting this fight? Do I feel like correcting this man? Do I feel like putting this man in his place? Do I feel like, because they just say these things, so society is such a way that these men can grow up their whole lives, get into their 40s, 50s, 60s, if they make it their 70s, and think that behaving in these ways, these inconsiderate ways, these cruel ways, is fine. We see all the time the women coming to the internet showing this little shit that their husband or their boyfriend did, and they're expecting us to just go, oh, that man, he's such a rascal. And we're saying, bitch, get out of there, you're in danger. There is a level of dissonance that it requires to be with a socialized male in this society. And I feel like that is what, for these arguments, that is thrown out of the conversation. And I'm like, no, let's not do that. Let's keep that right here on the forefront and let's have that conversation now. So yeah, we can have a conversation about how these women and girls need to get out of here and get out of the situation. But we also need to have a conversation about realistically outside of just, oh, they just have low self-esteem. What are the factors? What are we observing? That's why I was showing. Look at how these things are going down. Look at how they're reacting. Look at what they seem to be noticing. Look at what they seem to be reacting to. Look at where they seem to be making these weighing the cost benefit analysis in real time, because this is what it is like in real time. It's not just a cut and dry, oh, you need to just leave, oh, he's being mean to you. Because when he's telling you all the ways that nobody else is going to be any better than him, he's the pinnacle, and you personally haven't experienced better, it's not that cut and dry. It was horrifying, draining, and infuriating. There was a Bible study group that I was a part of, mostly men, male led, and all that. Oh my God. And that's where you said it was horrifying, draining, and infuriating. That's what I'm saying. Like, people don't be, you got to pay attention, man. Just because we having these conversations and we're used to just having these opinions, let's bring back all the other things we talk about. Any of that stuff doesn't go away because we have these different conversations, but we're having them separately when all of this stuff actually is intertwined. Exclusively elusive said beep beep beep. I get all of the sirens too. Are you watching ahead or whatever? So I'm gonna go ahead. Nobody came up, and that's fine. I'm gonna go ahead and play the outro, and then we're gonna do. I did my final thoughts, so we're just gonna kind of do the benediction, if you will.
Roll smooth with a.
Sorry, y'all. I've been having what's that called? Technical difficulties all day. I had to replay the intro earlier. Thank you. By the way, excellent. Thank you, girl. Yeah, the boobage, the chesticles. I was like, oh, this top looks good today. This is like an exercise top. Honestly, I want to like revamp my whole shit and have like a lot of sexy tops, because I told y'all 40 is about being fine for me. I'm going to be unapologetically fine. But yes, thank you for noticing. But yeah, I feel good. I feel good about the conversation we had tonight. I do feel bad. I hope ultimately that both young ladies reach a level where they recognize that they're worth more than this, and um they can do bad by themselves, and they don't, and honestly that they can do good by themselves. And Krishan is doing so good by herself. It is frustrating. Like, I don't at all want to sit and try to act like I don't be yelling at my phone and stuff when I'm looking at these clips and stuff that's going on. But also, too, realistically speaking, outside of just my knee-jerk opinions on this situation that I'm no longer in, my lived experience draws me back to a place of understanding where I'm just like, look, I know what it feels like to be that girl. I know what it feels like to be in that position. I know what it feels like to feel stuck and to be stuck in, like I said, that desire and that desire to connect, that desire to be connected, and that desire for that connection to mean something. And I just feel like we should recognize the ways that we're actually asking people or expecting people to just turn that on and off like a switch. when it's way more complicated than that. Doesn't mean that there aren't some hard boundaries that need to be drawn, and it doesn't mean that ultimately it'll be better and safer for that person outside of that situation. But again, I'm just talking about having grace in situations where we recognize that the person's main downfall is the fact that they are looking for connection. I don't feel like that's more problematic than somebody who is trying to own people's souls. You know what I'm like? Somebody that's actively trying to exert control over somebody. Somebody that is yearning for connection. I do feel like a yearning for connection is different than someone trying to use someone and discard them or continuously objectify them. Remember, I used to call them chesticles. One lady got on me for that. You look great. Thank you. And thank you. I think that was you that gave me a compliment about the purple on my skin. I did do like a style profile for myself in just because I like that type of shit. And these kind of colors are more complimentary to me. They said I'm like a fall. I'm a fall, you know, the palette. I'm more of a fall palette. They said jewel tones and stuff, but like purples and teals and turquoises and things like that. Mary said I didn't want to make a comment on them, but the fit is fitting. Like, no, feel free. Feel free. I do this for y'all. Okay? So if you see something you like, say something. Okay? Let me know. I'm doing the right thing. But yeah. So that is all I have for you this week. Thank you so much for coming and kicking it with me and listening to me prattle on. Okay, yeah, one more last thing before we go. Gotta do the final thing. If you want to give me something, my birthday was last week. This is the Cash App. Also, we've been working in the book. So here is the book. And also we have the Path to Hell is paved with dicks. That is more true now than ever, as we can see. We have it in black, white, and brown. And then we have the Path to Hell is paved with dicks mug in the turquoise. We have it in the lavender, and then we have it in the gold. So you can go ahead and get the mugs. It's about to be fall. We about to be having the hot chocolate and the hot toddies and the hot everything, whatever you call. Never mind. Let me not say that. I'm not going to say that. Your drinks in the mug, and also just know, if you're worried about what the mug says, it's a double-sided mug. So on the one side, it has the Path to Hell is paved with dicks, but on the other side, it just has Level Up Single Mom logo. So if you were at work or something, you don't want people to know you talking raunchily, you can just turn it around and says Level Up Single Mom and be real cute like that. That's the mug. Let me see. You could probably sit down with burnt orange as an autumn palette. Yeah, I do have burnt orange. That's a part of my thing. Thank you guys. And you said I need that. Yeah, girl. So go ahead. Like I said, if you want to support the channel, support the work that I'm doing. Also, I have a Substack. I posted my first article. Was it last night? And Amethyst likes it. Thank you, Amethyst, for reading my article. But go ahead and check that out. And look out for more articles from me. I'm going to start doing more of like writing my thoughts out. So that'll be good. All right, guys, I am going to log out for the night. I will see you guys on the flip side. Also, remember, send me whatever you want to send me. If you're interested in me talk about anything in particular, you can send it to me in Discord. You can send it to those of you who are friends with me on TikTok. You send me messages on TikTok. Just be sure to be clear that you want me to talk about that thing on live. And you can also email me here at Level Up Single Mom, so that way I have the information. Because a couple weeks ago, the guy who was real quick before I go, remember that live I did where the guy was saying that he didn't see vaginas as he saw women as vaginas, and vaginas only registered as pleasure to him in his mind until he had his daughters. That clip had found its way to TikTok, and child, the people were going off. Okay, and I had to let them know, like, look, I watched the whole thing, and there was more to it than that. Reluctantly, I don't like to defend men, but there was more to it than that. You may need to watch the whole thing, but yeah, that it happened. So I was like, ooh, child. Mm, 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 mm. But all right, y'all. I'll see y'all. Love y'all. Good night.